Well, it is the last of the playoff semi-finals with the final berth of the Wembley weekend left to be decided. So far, each of the 5 ties over the 3 divisions has been won by the side that finished the lower in the table, with all 5 sides who played away from home in the second leg ending up victorious. An omen perhaps for tonight, but it will take some turnaround. Doncaster's 2-1 home defeat on Sunday leaves Charlton as the overwhelming favourites, and but for Matty Blair's late goal for Rovers, their prospects would have been very stark indeed. But that absorbing Leeds derby encounter the other night showed that their task isn't an impossible one, although the need to create better chances this evening is obvious, particularly against a club with such an impressive defensive record on their own turf. Well, this certainly hasn't been a decade that Charlton fans will look back on with any fondness, but it has the chance of ending with the club moving back in the right direction. 6 of the 10 years have been spent playing in the 3rd tier. Crowds have dwindled to a 20-year low since the most recent relegation, amidst constant support of dissatisfaction with the owners. But matters on the field have invigorated belief that the corner has been turned. They've won 8 the last 9 games and 6 in a row here, and that after selling leading scorer Carlton Grant in the January transfer window. Had they retained him, would they have made up the 3-point gap to the top 2? You'd think so, but that of course is merely an academic question. But when you're unbeaten at home in 13 games, you'd certainly fancy your chances of getting the draw you need tonight to book a Wembley date with Sunderland. The last team to beat Charlton here, Doncaster Rovers, an FA Cup success back in December, which did come up against a much-changed Addicks side, but will surely provide some inspiration for tonight's encounter, albeit that the circumstances are so different. The crowd that day, barely 3,000. Tonight, there'll be around 26,000, with the home allocation completely sold out. Let me remind you of the 2 teams. Charlton, Phillips in goal, Bielik, Bauer and Sarr, Bankstale, Morgan, Cullen, Aribo and Purrington, and Parker off Taylor up front. Doncaster, Maroshi in goal, Blair, Downing, Butler and Andrew, Whiteman, then Wilkes, Kane, Rowan, Coppinger, and Marquis leads the line. Gavin Ward, the man who takes charge. The Doncaster players in their change kit, very dark blue away to our left-hand side, just going through a huddle. Charlton in the red shirts and white shorts, and they are going back to the customary midfield diamond of a 4-4-2 here, with Bielik pressed forward into a more advanced midfield position. We have to go back 11 years for the last time a League One side earned the first leg advantage on the road, but still failed to reach the playoff final. The size of Doncaster's task is lost on nobody. So can they overturn Charlton and the weight of history too? Or does their season end here in the capital tonight for the Addicks to set up a repeat of one of the greatest playoff finals that we have ever seen? Charlton kicking from right to left, on the front foot from the very off. The ball out of play for a throw, which will be taken by Purrington, the left back, and just waiting for the ball to be retrieved by a young ball boy, handed to Ben Purrington and then thrown into the feet of Aribo in the midfield, who's got Bielik in behind him. That's the pass that he plays. Aribo trying to turn, has got an opportunity to run inside the area. Purrington's got Taylor arriving at the far post. The sliding challenge gets it away from Butler, and then Doncaster will be able to half clear, but again only as far as Bielik. Bright, promising start from Charlton on the front foot, and Bielik buys a free kick about 10 yards outside the penalty area, level with the left-hand edge of the box. A minute gone, it's Charlton 0, Doncaster 0, 2-1 to Charlton on aggregate, and alongside me, David Connolly.
Well, it's a really good start here from the home side, on the front foot, keeping possession really well. Bielik, as you say, at the base of that diamond, finding Aribo, lovely little feet in the box, out wide of Purrington, good ball in but well cleared, but they won a set piece, and obviously as we spoke earlier, they've scored so many goals, nearly half their goals from set pieces.
It is Cullen that stands over it. Cullen, the Irishman on loan from West Ham, has 5 targets inside the penalty area. Taylor is closest to the penalty spot. Cullen then runs away. Is he going to leave it for Aribo? No, it is he that drives it in, and he's heading towards goal. The perfect start. Charlton Athletic ahead inside 2 minutes with Bielik heading the ball into the bottom left-hand corner. Such a routine piece of just making his way forward, guiding it in. Charlton 1, Doncaster 0. Another big step towards their first ever game at the new Wembley. Doncaster with it all to do now.
Well, it's an absolutely brilliant ball in. Bielik with a free header, but Josh Cullen makes it. I mean, it's a clever set piece. Josh Cullen ran down the outside, just dragged that Donny defence a little bit deeper, then came back, addressed the ball, whipped it in superbly, just past the penalty spot. There's Bielik with a free header, completely unmarked, downward at the near post. Terrific finish. What a start.
Only his 4th career goal, Christian Bielik. They've all come this season. The Polish under-21 international has made a couple of appearances for Arsenal. It was just so routine. The marking from Doncaster, not great at all. Obviously, there was plenty of disguise on the ball in, the way that Cullen had made his way out to the left-hand side of the area. It looked as though he wasn't going to take it, but nobody had picked up the run of Bielik from the edge of the penalty area.
Well, what that movement from Cullen did, it just drags the Donny defence that little bit deeper, and that means when you're delivering the ball, rather than heading it from 12 yards out, you might be actually heading it onside from about 6, and that's exactly what happened. Brilliant finish, but obviously their delivery makes it.
Well, when you've only conceded 6 goals in the last 13 games and only conceded 4 goals in your last 10 matches in all competitions all told, you'd back your chances from here. That's the position that Charlton find themselves in. Doncaster know they have to score 2 without reply in the next 86 minutes if they're to make it to Wembley. And indeed, that would only take them to extra time. Just to reiterate the situation, though, away goals don't count. Doncaster know that any 1-goal victory tonight, be it 2-1, be it 4-3, will take the game into extra time. Charlton play out from the back. Taylor is fouled, and it's a free kick which will be taken on the Charlton right. A night being played under leaden skies. The floodlights are certainly doing their bit to pierce the gloom. The gloom only meteorological in this part of southeast London, though. The Charlton fans delighted with the start that their side have made. A goal up inside 2 minutes. 3-1 up now on aggregate as Purrington heads the ball forward. And Parker was judged just to have backed into his man. And the free kick goes Doncaster's way, and the Charlton fans sing of Wembley. The last time they were there, of course, against Sunderland back in 1998 in that extraordinary playoff final. Are they going to be back at Wembley, this time under the arch rather than the towers, but facing the same opposition? Maroshi, the Doncaster goalkeeper in fluorescent orange, clears his lines forward towards Coppinger. Ball bounces down in the midfield and then play forward down the left by Purrington. Charlton happy to look long for the run of Aribo out towards the touchline. Whiteman does well, gets his foot on the ball in the midfield and plays it out wide towards Andrew, the left back for Doncaster, who turns it back towards Whiteman. Lyle Taylor in very strong in the loose ball breaks for Aribo, and Doncaster haven't got any kind of defensive shape here as Charlton bring it forward. It's moved out to the left hand side of the penalty area, but a shot from Morgan only goes into the side netting. Charlton with an electrifying start, a goal up and on the front foot from the first whistle.
That's an absolutely brilliant opportunity here, all started by Lyle Taylor, working ever so hard out of possession. Just won the ball back, and that set Charlton on the attack to Aribo. He's so quick, those long strides, fed the ball out wide to Albie Morgan. Terrific strike though, maybe could have gone across goal if I was being super critical, but fantastic start here.
Albie Morgan, another product of the youth academy here, is making only the 11th start of his career today and still waits for his first senior goal. Ball out of play for a throw. Doncaster have taken it with Blair finding the very tall centre-half Downing and worked through the midfield, but not effectively, with a misplaced pass from Herbie Kane, which goes out for a throw which will be taken on the Charlton right-hand side. Doncaster with much the worst away record of the playoff sides. They've only won 1 of the last 10 away games, and that was against bottom club Bradford. They haven't beaten any side from the top half away from home all season. From this point, they need to win the remainder of the 84-minute contest by 2 clear goals. They trail 1-0 on the night with Bielik's second-minute opener. Long, high, right-footed ball from Morgan. Taylor is onside. He's got Andrew out there with him, the full-back, who's gone shoulder to shoulder with him. Taylor went to ground and just argues the decision with the assistant referee over on the far touchline as Doncaster are allowed to play out from the back with Danny Andrew. No free kick given. It's played forward towards Marquis. Marquis is headed back through the midfield. Picked up then by Doncaster and by Herbie Kane, who plays it to his right-hand side for the blonde-haired Coppinger, the Doncaster veteran and legend in his 625th appearance for the club. Kane's ball in, hits Purrington, bounces down from Malik Wilkes on the edge of the area. Clever touch from him, knocked away from him though by Bauer on the edge of the box. Wilkes only belatedly getting back to his feet. Doncaster trying to get an effective ball inside the box. It's worked by Kane, back for Coppinger. Purrington's clearance ricochets off one of the Doncaster players, Matty Blair, and then it'll be cleared by Morgan down the left-hand touchline and out of play for a throw which will be taken on the Doncaster right. 8 gone, 1-0 to Charlton.
Well, it's a terrific atmosphere, isn't it? The tempo's ever so high, but Lyle Taylor looks like a man on a mission. He wants to get to Wembley, you can tell. I think he feels he was disappointed actually that there weren't clubs maybe of championship standard that came in for him, but certainly if they're not going to sign him, he's hoping to get up there with Charlton. Certainly the way he started here.
Has played in a playoff final before, Lyle Taylor, and scored in it for AFC Wimbledon 3 seasons ago. Man who's now scored 130 senior goals in his career, including, as I mentioned earlier, 10 in his last 11 games. Donny have the ball in the midfield with the impressive Herbie Kane, player on loan from Liverpool, who's named in the League One Team of the Year, along with the man he's trying to find there, John Marquis. The ball ricochets through the midfield. Bierlich, the goal scorer, just able to get his foot on the ball and calm things down. It'll then be played forward by Charlton down the left flank. Worked by Cullen, infield towards Parker. And then Parker just plays out towards his right-hand side and invites the Dutch fullback Dijksdale forward. Right-footed shot from him, beaten away by the goalkeeper. It'll only fall for Morgan on the edge of the area. Can't get himself into a shooting position. He tries to chip it inside the area looking for Andrew. Andrew's clearance breaks forward down the left-hand side for Wilkes, but Charlton get the bodies across and Bierlich can put it out of play for a throw. But Charlton looking so potent whenever they push forward.
Absolutely, on the turnover they break with such speed here. Doncaster have to be careful. Got to keep this tight. They don't want to concede another one this early.
Those are the thoughts of David Connolly. As the ball is worked out towards Wilkes on the left-hand side of the area. Marquis has found space on the edge of the penalty area. They couldn't lay it back to him. Wilkes, when he did get the ball in, just clattered it into Dijksdale. And he will be able to turn very neatly on the edge of his own penalty area and guide it back for his goalkeeper Dylan Phillips, who clears his lines. Doncaster's tasked to score 2 in the next 80 minutes against a side who've only conceded 1 in the last 6.5 hours of play. Doncaster have a free kick inside their own half, taken quickly. One centre half to another, Downing to Butler and then back again. Forward again from Paul Downing, who's on loan from Blackburn Rovers, the former West Bromwich Albion trainee. Playing it forward, it's a lovely little flick from Kay. Left-footed effort, what an equaliser. Brilliant strike from Tommy Rowe. There's one back for Doncaster, and it's game on. 10 minutes gone already. Charlton 1, Doncaster 1. Brilliant little sublime flick from Herbie Kane. Rowe running onto it, lashed it left-footed past Dylan Phillips. It's 1-1 and 3-2 on aggregate.
Well, that has come out of absolutely nowhere. Tommy Rowe with an absolute rocket of a shot with his left foot, but I just question Patrick Bauer here. He maybe could have got a little bit tighter to the ball. He stood off him. You can't do that against Tommy Rowe. He will punish you. That's an unstoppable shot.
Goal of real quality. Brilliant improvisation from Kane. Great awareness of what was on around him. And the Doncaster fans at that end of the ground in the Jimmy Seed stand at the southern end of the valley in raptures. Scarves being whistled around their heads. They believe now. Well, but still so much work to do.
That was such a good strike. It really was. On his left foot, middle of the box. Didn't really have much of the goal to aim at. I don't think he would have scored if he'd gone a cross goal. Went in near post with such pace and power. Phillips had no chance. Super strike.
Tommy Rowe, another player who's featured in the League One playoff final in the past. Back in his Peterborough days, he scored in that game back some 8 years ago now, hoping to help Doncaster back to Wembley. They've only ever played at Wembley once, and that was in the 2008 final against Leeds United, which they won. They've got a fantastic record in playoff campaigns. They won that one and the previous playoff campaign that they played back in 2003 for and they beat Dagenham and Redbridge to get promoted back into the league, and they're on the front foot here and with a chance with Marquis right hand side of the area across the face of goal. Phillips got a strong right hand to it. It was absolutely crucial then that there was a Charlton player first to the loose ball. Dyksdale clears his lines and a play for a Doncaster corner. It's been a brilliant response from them though in the last 6 or 7 minutes to going behind.
Oh, what a game this is. I mean, they won the free kick there. Tommy Wright really bright and alert, took it early, quick. Marcus, that little run on the inside channel, it was inside the box. He had a look in, there was no one there, elected to take the shot on a very acute angle, done well anyway to hit the target.
Danny Andrew to take the corner. It's the first of the night on the Doncaster right. It's a left-footed in-swinging delivery towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Downing up there attacking it, half cleared. Albie Morgan buys his side a bit of time. His clearance much more up than out, and Doncaster will pick it up again with Coppinger. He gets the better of Lyle Taylor, who's a little bit high with his challenge. Coppinger sells him a dummy, then goes back on the outside to Kane, who got himself back onside. Left-footed ball in from him was disappointing, not nearly as good as the approach play. Charlton clear it, and then Downing fouls Parker and gives the free kick away. 13 minutes gone here on TalkSport 2. Charlton 1, Doncaster 1, 3-2 to Charlton on aggregate, but it is very much game on.
It is, but it's a really good response here from Donny. They could have obviously gone under, actually could have conceded another one, but they fought back really well.
Charlton on the front foot, over on the right-hand touchline. Dyksdale trying to make his way forward. It's got support. Cullen was showing for it. It's laid back instead and through the midfield and out towards Aribo. Back from him to Bauer, who became a father this afternoon. Many congratulations to the Bauer family on the birth of their daughter. As a long ball is then played out from the back by goalkeeper Dylan Phillips, but over the head of Purrington and out for a throw, which will be taken on the Doncaster right-hand side. It's Charlton's third playoff campaign at this level. They're yet to reach the final, beaten in the semi-finals last season by Shrewsbury and then back at the start of the decade by Swindon Town in 2010. Their last playoff success, the famous one, the Clyde Mendonca hat-trick, when the man from Sunderland scored a hat-trick against his hometown club. Don't ask Mickey Gray how the afternoon ended, although people will if Charlton get through many times over the next 10 days, you can guarantee that. Charlton on the back foot here with Donny in possession with Coppinger. He's inside the Charlton half, but only just. Always busy, just looking for an angle to play the pass. He's found Kane. Kane almost dispossessed by Bielik. It looked as though Kane was fouled, but the referee says play on. There was a vociferous appeal from Grant McCann on the touchline that he should have had a free kick for his side. Grant McCann, another man with plenty of playoff experience. He's won 3 promotions via the playoffs as a player with Cheltenham, Scunthorpe and Peterborough, and now hoping to do it as a manager with Doncaster. 15 minutes gone in this second leg at 1-1.
Well, just looking at Charlton there, when they do win the ball back, I mean, earlier on they were breaking with real speed and quality, but now that first pass away is a little bit loose. They're just giving possession back to Donny, who can then build. Got him under pressure here.
Charlton able to bring the ball away with Bielik. Play through the midfield for the diminutive Cullen, who will lay it down towards the left-hand touchline. Good movement off the ball from Parker. Bielik's got a bit of space, but just chips it straight behind the Aribo and out of play. And the tempo that Doncaster are playing at with the press, just forcing errors out of Charlton at the moment. And that goal has rattled the home side.
It certainly has. I mean, earlier on, that first pass away from that Donny pressure was just getting him up the pitch, but at the minute, the ever-reliable Bielik, even he's losing possession. They just need to settle down here, Charlton, because Donny, when they got the ball, they look really, really sharp. And look, when they lose it, they're hunting it back.
It was Marquis that time. Cullen involved, but Donny quickly getting their foot on the ball with Whiteman. Whiteman into the feet of Kane, out to Blair. Blair playing it back through the midfield for the run of Coppinger. And again, Doncaster have a player go down and play allowed to continue. Kane only now getting back to his feet, and the Donny coach is far from happy. Cliff Byrne was just down the touchline having a word with the fourth official, Tim Robinson, about the legitimacy or otherwise of that challenge. Charlton bring it forward with Purrington. Back for Bielik. Wonderful atmosphere here at the Valley. The crowd of around 26,000. 9 times the crowd, there or thereabouts, that they got for the FA Cup tie between these two back in December. Dijkstale finding Purrington, right back to left back. Left-footed ball swung it from him, deep towards the back post. Danny Andrew not taking any chances. Knew that Cullen was coming in behind him. Heads it out of play for Charlton's first corner of the night.
Yeah, it's a decent ball into a good area. What I would say is they don't really have great height, Charlton, so you think if they're going to score it might be something clever along the ground or from one of these set pieces. They've already scored from it once. They've got another one here, this time from the right-hand side.
So Doncaster lining up 4 marking zonally, 5 marking zonally, 4 on the edge of the 6-yard box and 1 just outside. Then they're man for man on the edge of the box trying to stop the Charlton runners. They've got Lyle Taylor standing inside the 6 and every other Charlton player in a vertical line here, just preparing to make runs at different trajectories inside the penalty area, and the Donny players trying to stop that happening. And Parker was involved there. It was just a little coming together off the ball.
It's a bit like the England set pieces, which they did in the World Cup. That train where they all then start as one, then drift off.
Just all standing there, looking like preparing to do the conga as the ball is played in towards the near post. The Rebo has done well to keep it alive. It's back in. Good diving header away from the Doncaster back line. Repels the threat. Goes out of play for a throw which will be taken over on the Charlton right-hand side. 18 gone, 1-1 on the night. 3-2 Charlton on aggregate.
Well, that's a variation. That's on. They went along the ground. I think they might be better actually delivering in the air, but they went along the ground looking for something clever. Didn't quite come off.
Here's a Rebo for Charlton towards the edge of the penalty area. Forced away to the youngster Albie Morgan, still only 19. Back from him to Bauer, and then played forward by Bauer to Bielik, to Dijkstale, and he'll go all the way back to his goalkeeper. And Dylan Phillips will pick it up just outside the penalty area and then drive it forward where it's flicked on by Parker. Finding his strike partner, Lyle Taylor, then a Rebo. Parker continues his run. Parker towards the edge of the area. Rebo was held up. The referee did his best. He played the advantage. 2 or 3 seconds later, the move had broken down and the home crowd not happy. Wanted a free kick in that kind of area, but it was a difficult one for referee Gavin Ward with Charlton in possession once the ball had broken away from Taylor after the foul had happened. Doncaster have it back with Butler. Butler to his right-hand side. Paul Downing brings it forward. Downing's aerial pass out to the left-back Danny Andrew, whose control was slightly awkward. The former Cheltenham man just wraps his left foot around it, but not the best balls. He looked for Marquis and it was easily knocked away. Bielik finding Lyle Taylor, the 25-goal leading goal scorer for Charlton. Back from him to Sarr. And the Frenchman now will play it forward. Good movement off the ball out to the left-hand touchline comes from Albie Morgan. Sarr's looked for the longer ball forward instead towards Taylor. Taylor just gets there ahead of Danny Andrew. Back from him to a Rebo ducking his shoulder, getting inside the area, going then shoulder to shoulder with Butler, and in the end the ball ran past him. He's well defended by Andy Butler. Goes out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Doncaster keeper Marco Moroshi. It's 1-1 in a pulsating semi-final second leg of the Valley on TalkSport 2.
Well, as you say, it was brilliant defending there. Found Andy Butler, and the ball set back to him from Lyle Taylor. Joe Rebo on his favoured left foot. Now, to me, I thought he was just going to bend that into the far corner. He should have done that. Try to take him on down the line onto his weaker right side, but Butler just eased him out. Brilliant defending.
Very experienced player, Andy Butler, at the age of 35, Doncaster born. It will mean a great deal for him to have a successful playoff campaign, the first playoff campaign of his long career.
Just looking at Donny here, it looks like they've changed over the wingers. I think Coppinger's gone out to that left-hand side, and now Wilkes is operating on the right. He hasn't really been in the game, has he, Wilkes, so far?
Coppinger putting the pressure on Phillips, whose clearance was low and flat, hit with plenty of ferocity. Difficult for Malik Wilkes to control. Donny Wingers now playing the way round that you would have expected them to start. Ball over on the left-hand side with Andrews. They make their way forward. Slightly miscued, bobbling shot. Almost found Marquis. He couldn't drag it into his stride. Morgan clears it. Taylor can't hold it up. Back it will come again with Doncaster. With a long left-footed ball forward hit from the centre-half Downing. Out of the left-hand touchline. Donny able to find space in this kind of area, 20 yards outside the penalty box. Coppinger working away for Andrew. Back for the effervescent Kane, but he's missed Coppinger with the pass, and it goes out of play for a goal kick which will be taken by Phillips. We're midway through the first half. It's Charlton 1, Doncaster 1. Here's David Conlon.
Well, they've certainly grown into the game, haven't they now, Doncaster? But every time they get the ball wide, I look at John Marquis, he just wants the ball delivered into the box. A few times now, they've just tried that extra pass on it. I just think maybe just put it in there. Make Charlton defend. They look a little bit nervy at the minute. And see if you can capitalise on that. Once or twice Marquis has looked out to the bench, I think to Grant McCann, as if to say, come on, I'm in here now and I haven't had the ball. Just have a word, make sure those wingers deliver it.
And we'll keep you up to date with events at Tannadice tonight as well in the relegation promotion playoff between Dundee United and Inverness Cali. That is currently 0-0. This one is 1-1. We talked before the game about possession. Almost exactly 50-50 through the first half of the first half. 4 shots to 3 in Doncaster's favour. 1 goal apiece, of course. Bielik's second-minute header cancelled out by a superb left-footed shot from Rowe 9 minutes later. And that's the way it remains, with Aribo in possession for Charlton. Ball played down the left-hand touchline and back into his path from Parker. Josh Parker finding Aribo, his left-footed cross took a deflection, was then cleared by Butler, forward towards Malik Wilkes. Wilkes trying to control it. It's a very physical encounter between him and Purrington. Rowe tried to take over for Doncaster, but Purrington emerged with possession. Parker plays it forward, slightly misplaced pass from him, half cleared only as far as Cullen guarding it back to the halfway line. Sarr sends a slide rule ball down the left-hand touchline, chased by Purrington, who's won the corner. Charlton's second of the night. Yeah, really good play there from Purrington, but I was just looking at Joe Aribo. I mean, he's electric. When he gets the ball, he just comes to life. You can hear the crowd, they almost rise in anticipation, but he just hasn't had it enough. As soon as they can, I was trying to be saying, look, get it to Aribo. He looks like he's in the groove as well. He'll make something happen. This latest Charlton corner will be taken by Cullen. Towards the edge of the penalty area, Morgan is waiting. 6 forward for it. It's a header down and cleared well by the goalkeeper. Diving at the foot of his near post, Moroshi got in the way and kicks it behind for another corner. Yeah, Cullen just hung it up at the back post there for Bauer. Just got the run on his man. Good downward header aimed at the near post. Actually was a comfortable save. But this is where they look a real threat, these set pieces. And Cullen trots from the left-hand corner out to the right, both arms above his head to indicate where he's going to put it. 4 making runs from deep, heads go up. It was Sarr that met it, but it's come off his forehead at an oblique angle, and Doncaster will be able to bring it away. Blair, those overrun it, and it goes out for a Charlton throw, which will be taken about 10 yards inside the Doncaster half. 1-1 at the Valley on TalkSport 2. A reminder tomorrow, the FA Cup final for you, live with Mark Saggers in the chair, Sam Matterface and Stuart Pearce talking through the action from Wembley. Manchester City Watford kicks off at 5. Well, it's a different delivery. I mean, when Cullen takes it from this side, from the left, it's a right-footed in-swinger, but when he takes it from the other side, it's a sort of floated, driven delivery. Much harder to head back across goal. Doncaster had possession with Rowe to Butler to Downing, and then back for Downing again. The Valley, a cacophony of noise. Wonderful atmosphere here on Floyd Road tonight. Ball over on the Doncaster left with Coppinger, exchanging passes with Andrew, and then a right-footed delivery inside the penalty area, headed down by Tommy Rowe. Right-footed effort, shanked off the outside of the boot of Herbie Kane. He's claiming a deflection, but I think only to spare his blushes as much as anything else. Went out nearer the corner flag than the goal for a goal kick which will be taken by Dylan Phillips. Oh, it's a lovely little run there from Rowe in behind. Diagonal ball, headed it back down. As you say, though, the strike was a poor one, but it's a really good response here from Doncaster. They look so comfortable in possession. Doncaster have only won 4 out of 14 previous meetings with Charlton, only 2 here at the Valley, one of them being the FA Cup tie last December. It was a much changed Charlton side that day. They also won in the league here back in 2009, but those are the only successes they've had. Charlton winning the first leg 2-1, 2-0 here at the Valley in the league back in November, and then 1-1 when the two sides met at the Keep Moat back in March with a John Marquis own goal. Malik Wilkes scoring Donny's goal that day. He's been quite quiet so far tonight. Hasn't had quite the service that he would have wanted. Certainly Coppinger has seen much more of the ball than the youngster on loan from Leeds, who's standing now with his right arm above his head, just indicating that he's in a position to try and receive the ball. He's backing out to the touchline to try and draw Purrington out with him. Doncaster in a much deeper position have the ball with Butler, played for by Marquis, looking for Wilkes, half cleared. Marquis gets it back from Blair and then almost able to play in Wilkes down the right hand side, but the pass a little bit too strong and it's out of play for a throw which will be taken on the Charlton left hand side. All the statistics, both historical ones and the current form, but point towards Charlton. But what we've seen over 27 minutes, Dave, be a brave man that would call this and say with any conviction that Charlton are going to get the job done inside 90 minutes. They may well, of course, but Doncaster's response has been excellent. Wilkes plays it forward after a mistake by Sarr. Now an opportunity for Whiteman, left-footed curler from him. He couldn't get enough curl on it, and it's gone wide of Phillips's far post and out of play for a goal kick. 1-1.
Well, they're really good in tight spaces, aren't they? Moved the ball ever so well. Tommy Rowe, lovely quick feet into Ben Whiteman, just ducked inside onto his left foot, aiming for that far corner, trying to bend it back in. Didn't quite get enough on it. But they've been so impressive here. They really have. I mean, to go 1-0 down, obviously a lot of sides could crumble. They've shown real character here. They really have. Bravery on the ball. I mean, we heard Frank Lampard talk about that, didn't we, for Derby? They've shown it here tonight, Donny.
Well, it's worth reiterating that so far, the 5 previous playoffs have all gone the way of the side who played away from home in the second leg, including that stunning turnaround for Derby at Elland Road. Here's Wilkes in possession for Doncaster. Over on the left-hand touchline, Coppinger, little layoff from him. Andrew whips it in, headed away by the retreating Bauer, and then a Rebo's touch not great on the edge of the area. Coppinger! Phillips able to make the save, diving to his left-hand side, but another shot on target for Doncaster, who are having better quality attempts on goal tonight than they did in the first leg on Sunday. Sarr able to bring the ball forward out from the back. There is a nervousness permeating through this Charlton side at the moment. They still lead on aggregate 3-2. Purrington in possession, the fullback on loan from Rotherham, who spent the first half of the campaign across town from here, being loaned out to Wimbledon. Now a Rebo battling with Wilkes. The referee gave himself some thinking time, and it's a free kick to Charlton just inside the Doncaster half. 1-1 the score. Purrington preparing to take it. Just lays it back behind square into his own half for Albie Morgan. Biggest night of his life tonight, in a footballing context anyway. Morgan plays it back for Sarr. Now Bielik able to bring the ball forward. Goes out to his left-hand side for Purrington. Purrington midway inside the Doncaster half. Hugely enjoyable night so far. 1-1 the scoreline. 3-2 on aggregate. Charlton again give it away with Bowers crossfield ball, evading Purrington and going out of play for a Doncaster throw. Haven't got the stats to hand, but pass accuracy for Doncaster I'm sure will be much higher than that of Charlton's. Part of that is down to the fact that Charlton tend to look at that little bit longer than Doncaster do, who like the little 10-yard ball into feet, but Charlton just haven't had the passing radar honed effectively so far tonight.
Well, also I think Donny are putting them under immense pressure and they're just not able to cope with it. I mean, contrast that when Charlton do press Donny, they can play around that pressure. They're good in tight spaces, but Charlton at the minute are just panicking, taking maybe an extra touch or panicking and just clearing it first time, gifting possession back to Doncaster.
Charlton have a free kick. And it's taken by Cullen. Cullen back inside his own half for Bauer. Bauer playing it out towards the Charlton right-hand side for the Dutchman Dijksteel. Back from him, just outside the penalty area. Phillips had to come to meet it to clatter it away as Marquis put the pressure on. He's headed down the right-hand side by Matty Blair. Blair into the feet of Wilkes. Excellent challenge on him from Purrington, who stayed strong and then played down the Charlton left-hand side. In from Parker, but behind Morgan. And Doncaster can bring it away. Into the feet of Wilkes. Wilkes laying it back. Right-footed ball swung forward by Rowe through the midfield. There's a nice layoff from him to Coppinger. Marquis making his way for it. Coppinger stumbles, but he's back on his feet to retain possession, and then another Doncaster player's gone down. It's Marquis falling over inside the penalty area. Donny trying to get the ball in from that left flank. Dyksdale turned one way and then the other. Andrew had to get it onto his left foot to deliver. That was the problem. He'd beaten Dyksdale, but didn't have the courage of his convictions in a right-footed cross, and as a consequence the Dutchman could recover his ground and block the subsequent delivery. Charlton play out from the back and then win a free kick over on the right-hand touchline midway inside their own half. With 32 minutes gone here on TalkSport 2, it's 1-1, 3-2 to Charlton on aggregate. Bielik gives the ball away. He was furious. It was an angry reaction from him. Firstly to Taylor and then out to the youngster Morgan. He wanted Taylor to chauffeur the ball into feet and he wanted Morgan to make a different run for him.
I also think it's actually to Lee Bowyer, to his managers, to say, you know, come on, I made a good pass at Alarte. He's not shown for me. I think there's been a couple of misplaced passes, certainly into the front. I mean, they're not quite firing here, Charlton. They just need to settle down and just gain some composure. As it is, when it turns over, Doncaster can just play through the middle thirds really, really well. I mean, going back to that chance from Danny Andrew out wide, they actually ended up there with some brilliant, intricate play. Maybe they could just deliver that ball slightly earlier.
Only Luton have had a better home record this season than Charlton. 16 wins, just the 2 defeats so far, and 6 home wins in a row in all competitions for them coming into this. Doncaster a tough nut to crack at the moment. It is a Charlton throw to be taken on the left-hand touchline, right in front of the Doncaster bench, where Grant McCann is kicking every ball. Just replaced Darren Ferguson at the helm last summer, having previously managed Peterborough, and it's been a fantastic first campaign. They have exceeded expectations, but as the manager was saying, they haven't come to the Valley tonight to make up the numbers, be content with a playoff semi-final defeat. Far from it, and they have shown those words to have substance so far. Blair's got the ball in his hands. It's a throw which Doncaster will take on this near touchline, the Donny right. Listen to that crowd. Charlton fans singing, trying to exert some kind of influence on their team. Ball out for a throw which will be taken on the Charlton left by Purrington. Purrington just tells Sarr to take a couple of quick steps back to offer himself as a passing angle. He's into the feet of Morgan instead. Sarr then has to make a last-ditch recovering challenge. He won it cleanly, but there was no margin for error. Charlton again almost architects of their own downfall. Marquis sprinted after the back pass. Sarr just got in there to slide it back to his goalkeeper who could clear. Then the referee gets in the way as Whiteman trying to play it out towards the Doncaster left for Andrew. The referee could do nothing to take evasive action. He's desperately hoping that nothing comes from this for Charlton as Cullen plays it down the right-hand touchline for Aribo. Butler defending him down by the corner flag, but Aribo's able to maintain possession. Over on the Charlton right, twisting his way through. He's done really well to find Lyle Taylor. Taylor setting up Bielik, trying to thread it back through for the leading goal scorer, but Doncaster got the angles of defence right and can clear forward towards Marquis.
Well, that pass in the final third is just lacking at the minute. It's a lot of turnover here. I mean, Andy Butler's done brilliantly, hasn't he, defensively, just forcing Aribo out wide. He's got the patience and the know-how.
First half has raced by, just 10 minutes remaining in it. Doncaster on the front foot for much of the game.
I just wonder whether the Canada will be saying at half-time, you know what, they're on the ropes, Charlton. You know, his half-time team talk will be really easy, I feel. Just keep playing like this. You know, the crowd are getting edgy, they're getting on them, they're making mistakes. Even the simple passes they're giving away.
Herbie Kane's got it. Back from him to Downing, and then Downing to Blair. Blair turning away from Purrington, lays it back again to Downing on the edge of his own penalty area. And it's dragged forward by the Slovakian goalkeeper Marko Maroshi, who's only kept 5 clean sheets now in his last 43 games. He's fired it forward. Cut out by Wilkes on the right-hand side. Wilkes in towards Marquis. Marquis had the chance to look up. He saw there was no support, so he held it up back for Wilkes. Wilkes, edge of the area, left-footed shot from him. Blocked by Morgan. Back from Blair to Wilkes again. Now to Blair, forward away Matt in the penalty area. He's pulled it back for Tommy Rose, already scored one from outside the box tonight. Back from him to Whiteman. Whiteman to Marquis, patient build-up from Doncaster. Inside the Charlton final third. Whiteman's delivery inside the box. Sarr and Phillips almost went for the same ball. The lines of communication good enough. And Phillips' take was excellent, collapsing onto it. Had to make sure that having caught it, he didn't then collide with his own defender and let go of the ball from his grasp. But his goalkeeping was outstanding. And Charlton could build from the back again, working it down towards the right-hand side for Dyksdale. 1-1 the scoreline here at the Valley. Into the feet of Taylor. Charlton trying to spin and get the ball forward, but Whiteman's there to mop up. Hits a brisk ball back for his goalkeeper. Maroshi gets it away, although Taylor did everything he could to cut it out. He threw himself at the clearance, but he couldn't make any contact. Goes out of play for a Charlton throw.
Well, Taylor, he's just trying to spark his side into life here. I mean, they've been really flat, certainly since the 1-1.
Ball in the midfield with Sarr. And now it comes down towards the left-hand touchline for Purrington. You're listening to Charlton against Doncaster Rovers on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's Fun Football, providing over 5 million hours of fun grassroots football to the UK by 2022. Now, Gavin Ward is going to have a word here. They haven't had a yellow card so far tonight, but one's going to be shown now for the challenge by Bielik, and he's the first player cautioned.
Well, Bielik knows once obviously a player gets the wrong side of him, he doesn't quite have the pace to get back. I mean, Donny were upset there because they wanted to take that set piece quickly and get the ball moving. As it is, the centre halves are going up, so this is probably going to go into the box. Might be one of the last opportunities, certainly in this half, to get it in there.
Blair's maybe nicked a yard or two as he's spotted the ball down for the execution of this free kick. All of his outfield teammates ahead of him. He's played it forward. It's hit the one-man wall, but still loops up towards the edge of the area where Bauer can clear, and then it's up further away by Taylor. Rebo over on the right-hand touchline controlling it. It's not much room with which to work. He's turned it into trouble, and Coppinger's got it back. And the veteran will bring it onto his right foot and then backheel it with his left, finding Butler. Butler play forward through the midfield for Whiteman, the former Sheffield United man. Just invites Blair forward. Good ball from Blair. First time into the feet of Rowe on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Keynes made a good run down by the corner flag. He tried a little trick, but it didn't come off, and now Morgan will bring it away for Charlton. Back inside his own penalty area for Sarr, who heeds the cry of man on. Downing comes to meet the loose ball on halfway. Rebo forward into Parker, who was given a push there by Blair. And it's a Charlton free kick on the halfway line with 6 minutes to go to half-time at 1-1.
Well, as good as they have been in possession, Donny, they've been equally impressive when they don't have the ball. I mean, they press in numbers and packs, hunt that ball, get it back, run it back off a Rebo there, but here's Taylor in.
Edge of the area, was he pushed by Butler? Referee in a good position says no. Taylor throws his arms up to the heavens when he sees that no decision has gone his way. Doncaster clear out of harm's way, but can't find Marquis.
Well, again, really good defending here from Butler. He's been brilliant so far. Just out-muscled Lyle Taylor. I think he's saying to him, look, you've gone down a little bit too easily there. Whatever they've chucked at him, Andy Butler's been up to it. He really has at the heart of that Donny defence.
Parker. Morgan making a run off him. Parker with a little nutmeg of Whiteman. The crowd appreciated that. Cullen able to pick the ball up in the midfield. Dyksdale stumbles over and then gets back to his feet, but can't deal with a very poor pass from Cullen. They are panicking in possession. They've got, at times, a little bit more time than they think they have, Charlton. Giving it away very cheaply. And Andrew will bring it forward to compose Doncaster performance at the moment. They have possession on the left-hand side of their midfield. Ball's back with Coppinger. Tommy Rowe equalising the early goal from Christian Bielik. 1-1 inside 10.5 minutes. We've played another half an hour since then. That's still the way of it. But Doncaster with 8 shots to 5 have certainly had the better of the play. Kane finding Wilkes. Malik Wilkes on the right-hand side, drives a low ball in, took a couple of deflections. It's brought under control by Cullen, but he's lost back out to the impressive Kane. Takes it down towards the corner flag. Wilkes in support for him. Wilkes just waits for a little bit of movement off the ball. Back it goes for Blair. Blair to Kane, left-footed ball swung in by Wilkes, header is wide, but it was another good run forward from the left-back Andrew, who's in there to attack it 15 yards from goal, but couldn't get the angle on the header as he tried to generate the power.
Yeah, it's a difficult one because obviously Wilkes out on this right-hand side. He is a left-footer, so he's always looking to come back inside onto his left, deliver that in-swinging ball. But that's a sign of how they're playing. Certainly Grant McCann's team here. That's the left-back up, trying to hit it in goal, 6 yards out.
Goal kick to be taken by Phillips. And he's whacked it forward long, right-footed. It only bounces about 10 yards outside the Doncaster penalty area onto the head of Parker, but he couldn't guide it forward for Taylor. And Doncaster will bring it forward. Wilkes tries to spin Purrington and goes out of play for a throw. Grant McCann acting as the ball boy. And Blair will take the throw quickly into the feet of Coppinger. Back for Blair. Coppinger rescues it. It looks as though Bielik might have won it back. Back it goes for Downing. And Paul Downing will just take a touch, survey his options, plenty of time in possession. Charlton have just backed off and allowed Doncaster easy possession around halfway. Forward into the feet of Coppinger. He is now being pressed by Morgan. Coppinger to Blair. Blair back to his defender, to Downing. Downing has got the long switch of play out to the left-hand side for Andrew. He finds him, albeit belatedly. And Andrew then controls it and goes back for Butler.
Well, that's where it's got to come a little bit quicker because of the formation that Charlton are playing. This space is out wide with the fullback, so when they drag Charlton one side, the switch is really on quickly.
Now they have it with Kane into the feet of the edge of the area, looking for Marquis, but dealt with by Big Pat Bauer and cleared. Comes back again to the edge of the box. Sarr to Purrington. And Purrington shanks his left-footed clearance under pressure from Wilkes, straight out of play. Half-time whistle can't come soon enough here for Lee Bowyer and Johnny Jackson.
You're absolutely right. I mean, he's under pressure, but you wouldn't say it's a lot of pressure, is it? It's limited pressure, but they're just gifting possession back to Donny, and they're playing this formation really, really well.
Now it goes out to Dyksdale on the right-hand touchline for Charlton. He will bring it forward. I wonder whether it might be tempted, Charlton, to go back to the three at the back that served them well in the first leg. Dyksdale, though, setting it up. Cullen's right-footed effort. What did that hit? Some part of Downing's body. There were big appeals that it was his arm as he blocked the shot on the edge of the penalty area. Then Bielik fires one over the bar. Charlton's best moment of the game in the last 20-25 minutes or so goes down as really good defending by Downing, but he threw himself in. The arm was away from the body, but referee Gavin Ward said it wasn't a penalty.
Well, he done brilliantly, as you say there. Paul Downing sliding, last-ditch challenge, got his body in the way. Did it come off his arm? Probably. Was it in a natural position? It's hard to see from here. Probably not. But it was close. Maybe it didn't come off his arm.
Well, we understand replays show that it didn't hit his arm and that it was a good piece of refereeing, although Lee Bowyer, just in the ear of fourth official Tim Robinson, certainly begged to differ. Kane losing possession in the midfield. We're into the final minute of the first half, and there's not going to be too much time added, if any. Here's Marquis for Donny, back to the halfway line for Danny Andrews, been very influential. Fourth official has got the numbers board in his hand, so there's going to be at least 1 minute to be added, but probably no more. Back for Whiteman, and Whiteman will turn the ball down the right-hand side and play it back through the midfield again for Coppinger. Coppinger can bring it forward. Coppinger out on the left-hand side, trying to ride the challenge of Taylor. It's an immaculate piece of defending by the Charlton striker, who's come back to win it as we go into that additional minute at the end of the first half. It is Charlton against Doncaster on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's Fun Football, providing over 5 million hours of fun grassroots football to the UK by 2022. Charlton clear. And then there's some shenanigans off the ball involving Morgan and Wilkes, and the pair of them will have to be calmed down here by the referee. Morgan clearing his lines. He whacked 7 bells out of the ball as he whacked it into the stand. And then there was just a little coming together off the ball, which Wilkes took exception to. The referee, Gavin Ward, who does have a reputation of being a real stickler, just having a word and calming things down. Right at the end of the first half. Ball will be played forward into the feet of Wilkes, who's been dispossessed by Bielik. Wilkes won it back. Rebo able to take control of the situation. Back from him to Purrington. Over the top from Whiteman for Doncaster. Out to Coppinger, whose control is neat and tidy, but that's the last touch of a hugely entertaining first half. Christian Bielik giving Charlton the perfect start, heading them into the lead inside 90 seconds. Charlton at that stage knew that they were home and dry unless they conceded 2, but they let in 1 just 9 minutes later from Tommy Rowe, and since then Doncaster have been the better side. It's beautifully poised. Half time in the playoff semi-final second leg. Charlton 1, Doncaster 1, 3-2 to Charlton on aggregate. Well, potentially, of course, extra time and penalties on the agenda. We talked about whether Charlton would change the shape. We both felt that they would. They have, and they have gone back to a back 3. But they've also made a change. Darren Prattley has come on, and Albie Morgan is the player that he's replaced. So they're going 5-3-2 for the second half. That was the formation that they played to such good effect in Doncaster on Sunday, and they've gone back to it for this second half. We're underway. Donny kicking from right to left, hoping for the same kind of breathtakingly quick start that Charlton had in the first half, attacking that northern end of the ground. And the ball is out of play for a Doncaster throw. Marquis laying it off, but away from Blair, and out for a throw which will be taken on the Charlton left-hand side. So Charlton, Phillips in goal. Now a back 5 of Dyksdale, Bielik, Bauer, Sarr and Purrington. Then Prattley, Cullen and Aribo in midfield, and Taylor and Parker up top. Doncaster, Moroshi in goal. Blair, Downing, Butler and Andrew. Then Whiteman, then Wilkes, Kane, Rowe and Coppinger, and Marquis up front. Doncaster still have 3 changes left at their disposal. Charlton have just made their first, so they've got 2 left. Bielik in the book, 1-1 the score, 3-2 on aggregate to Charlton. 5 League One sides have lost the first leg at home and still reached the final in playoff history. Nobody's done it since Leeds did it back in 2008, where they then got to the final, were on the wrong end of a defeat to Doncaster. The Leeds did do it back then, beating Carlisle, having lost the first leg at Elland Road. Will Doncaster, some 11 years on, lose the first leg at home but be able to win here at the Valley tonight and get through? Appeals for handball, fall on deaf ears. Charlton are in possession with Parker laying it back through the midfield for Cullen. Little lail from Cullen to his right hand side for Bielik, who's now on the right of the 3 centre halves as he plays it forward, and it was a very firm challenge from Downing, who took the ball, took a Rebo as well after he'd taken the ball, and it was his follow through being out of control that has angered the referee. And a free kick is given, and he's going to be spoken to as well.
Well, I hope that is all it is, because to me that was a really good challenge. Went to ground, Downing won the ball, but I think Aribo just clattered into him. There was nothing in that. I think Gavin Moore's had a really good game so far. I mean, he's refed it ever so well. When he's needed to settle it down, well, I said he's refed it ever so well, but he's just given Downing a yellow card, so maybe not. I don't agree with that whatsoever.
Well, having slid in to win the ball where his studs were down and he made no contact with the player initially, his momentum, what's he supposed to do?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Aribo just carried into him.
Anyway, free kick to Charlton in a central position, 20 outside the area, played inside the box. It's taken a couple of little nicks on its way through, hit Bauer last, and goes out of play for a goal kick.
I think Grant McCann will be happy, because he'll be thinking, right, okay, he's probably said to his team, they might change shape, and that's a compliment to you, based on how well you've played. And obviously they'll have worked on how to combat that. Obviously in this second leg, if they play that formation again, what are we going to do? So they'll be well prepared, Donny. This will be a really, really good 45.
48 on the clock, 42 to go. Doncaster need to score, and they really don't need to concede. Ball hooked by Whiteman over his shoulder. Rowe going up for it. A few question marks, I understand, over Dylan Phillips with the Tommy Rowe goal, with his weight potentially going the wrong way as he tried to make the save and wasn't set as the shot came in, but it was hit very quickly by Rowe. Here's Taylor now for Charlton, working him back inside his own half, finding Sarr. Sarr will play it out to the left hand side for Purrington to make his way forward, and it goes back for the Frenchman again. Sarr back out to Purrington. It's played for. Prattley now can take over. His first contribution since coming off the bench at half time, and he's won the free kick, just pulled back there by Whiteman. And free kick which will be taken about 25 yards outside the penalty area. Darren Prattley, nearly 200 games for Swansea, more than 200 for Bolton. So much experience within a career which once saw him score in a championship playoff semi-final in his days with Swansea back in 2011.
Oh, it's dreadful there from Charlton. I wonder why they didn't put that in the box, especially when they're so good at scoring goals from set pieces. Naby Sarr, the centre-half, stayed at the back. He tried to switch the play out wide to Dijkstell, overhit the ball. It's gone straight out of play.
Here's a throw which Donny take, level the edge of their own penalty area. Hurled forward by Andrew, flicked on by Rowe. Charlton get it back for Phillips, who clears it. Headed back through the midfield. And Wilkes knew that he was offside. And Sarr turned, his heart in his mouth. He let it go through to his goalkeeper and then realised, I think, that Wilkes was there, but he was easily offside. Wilkes made no attempt to play the ball. Charlton able to bring it away with a Rebo, finding Taylor, dug forward by Taylor, brought down by Prattley with his back to the direction of play, lays it back for Cullen, whose control was poor. Instead of coming together between Cullen and Marquis in the midfield, and the free kick has gone Charlton's way. And Gavin Ward, the referee, has found against John Marquis there, who gets up with a look of utter bemusement on his face. 5 gone, second half, 1-1.
Disgust, I think, from the Doncaster forward. Not too sure about that one either. I'll put the kiss of death here. And Gavin Ward.
Attendance announced tonight, the biggest here at the Valley for 7 years, 25,428. Ball out of play for a throw, which will be taken over on the Charlton left-hand side. Of course, if they were to score and get their noses in front on the night, extend their aggregate lead to 2, they would feel that would be just about that now. But it is Doncaster that have looked far and away the more likely since it became 1-1 on the night. Charlton had possession on the far touchline, which is their left. Ball will be chipped forward. It's easily knocked away from Sarr's delivery. Whiteman taking control of the situation. It goes out for a throw which will be taken by Bauer over on the Charlton left-hand side.
Well, what their change has made them do actually is get Aribo more central. I think that's a good thing, because obviously he hasn't really had enough of the ball, certainly in the first half. He started ever so well, then he faded. I think if they can get the ball into him, he will make things happen.
Ball's out of play for a throw, which is taken on that Charlton left-hand side and brought under control in the midfield by Whiteman. A few dissenting voices from the Charlton fans behind us as, again, it's a little bit loose and ragged in the midfield. Ball is played back for the goalkeeper, Phillips. Phillips out to the left-hand side for Sarr. His long left-footed ball sails straight out of play. We talked about it in the first half, but there was a real nervousness going through the crowd. The fans, by and large, have stayed with them. It's not permeating from all around us down onto the pitch, but you sense that the players, knowing how close they are to getting to Wembley for the first time in more than 20 years, that final yard can sometimes be the hardest.
It absolutely can, and I think, look, it's a demanding public. I mean, they're used to playing in the Premier League. This is a big club. You've got to be able to perform under pressure. Naby Sarr a couple of times, very simple passes, kicked them straight off the park. That's just not good enough.
Ball goes out of play, and it's out for a throw, which will be taken on the right-hand side by Doncaster's Matty Blair. From wrong place though, and the referee, who's been heavily involved in the second half so far, just asked for a retake. It's thrown forward to Coppinger. Coppinger's ball in, and it was a free header, albeit a difficult one, propelled well wide by Rowe. He sent it about 9 or 10 yards wide. But the throw taken, Coppinger able to emerge into space, drove it in, and Rowe had made an uncharted run at the back post. It was a long way out in generating the power. He's skewed it well wide of the right-hand post.
Well, it's a quality cross though from Coppinger. So it showed a real turn of speed there to get away from Prattley. I know he's 38, but didn't really show any signs of aging, does he? Lovely little pick out there for Rowe. Try to direct it. Maybe could have taken it on his chest. Hard angle. He's about 12, 13 yards out on the head. Difficult chance. But he's got that quality, hasn't he, Coppinger? If you're in there, he will find you.
Charlton unbeaten at home in the league since the first week of October, when they were beaten here 2-1 by Coventry. The only other team that beat them in a league fixture here at the Valley this season were Peterborough. And Doncaster won in the Cup, and Swansea's under-21s won here in the Checkatrade Trophy. But apart from that, it's been a very impressive home campaign from Charlton. They go on their home form to let them down when they need it most. And here's Coppinger making things tick in the midfield now for Doncaster Rovers as he plays it out to the right-hand side for Malik Wells. Back for Coppinger again. Now to Whiteman. Whiteman chipping it forward. One of the Donny players over on the right-hand touchline was Blair, could make no attempt to try and play the ball because he knew he was in an offside position. That playoff in Scotland, Dundee United 2, Inverness Cali 0. Dundee United trying to make sure they're playing Premiership football next season. 2 up at home to Inverness Cali. Ball out on the left-hand side for Charlton. Purrington driving it forward, bypasses Aribo. Taylor's control ends up being a pass to Aribo, whether that was what he intended or not. And to the left-hand side, opportunity for Pratley now, shaven-headed, the veteran midfielder, lays it back. It's driven away easily from inside his own penalty area by Andy Butler, who's had such an impressive game, as David's been saying. And then it's cleared by the Doncaster back line, but away from Coppinger, and out for a throw which will be taken on the Charlton right. 10 minutes gone, second half. The lights of the tower block just in the southeastern corner of the ground over on the far side, piercing the gloom, and you can just see a couple of silhouettes in one of the windows now and peering down on events here at the Valley. It's been a hugely enthralling encounter with Sunderland awaiting the winners. 1-1, 3-2 on aggregate to Charlton at the moment. Be a brave man that called it though, with Doncaster still the better side. Bielik tries to bring the ball away. Good little 1-2 between him and Cullen. And now Aribo continues his run forward. The ball is worked into the feet of Lyle Taylor. The referee said that he was fouled, and it's a free kick which Dyksdale will probably take on this right-hand touchline. 56 gone, 1-1.
Well, it's not just his goal, but Tommy Rowe, when he gets the ball to feet, he's got such great skill. I mean, he can take it in tight areas and manipulate and get out of trouble. He's a fantastic footballer, he really is. They just need to get the ball to him a little bit more.
Dyksdale lays it back. The free kick was taken short for Bielik, and then help round the corner for the run of Josh Parker. Parker out on the left-hand touchline wins a throw. He's certainly due a goal, the Antiguan striker who they signed from Gillingham back in January. He's yet to score for Charlton. 16 without a goal in all competitions since he netted for the Gills against Portsmouth back on Boxing Day. They're very much as the foil for Lyle Taylor in this side. He's just tried to win a corner there, but couldn't take a deflection off Blair, which he was hoping for. And it's out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Maroshi away to our right-hand side. 1-1.
Well, Donny here, look, they're trying to split and play out the two centre-halves, gone the width of the box. They've done that all game, but they've never given it to him once.
And they haven't this time either, as Maroshi launches it long through the middle. Second ball won by Charlton, then returned through the midfield by Kane. And then there's a free kick given away by the sliding Andrew. The free kick which will be taken by Charlton about 8 yards inside their own half.
I think that new rule change next season will be actually quite good when the centre-halves can receive it inside the box, because at the minute, say here tonight, the two Charlton forwards then go and mark the two centre-halves and they can't really receive it from the goalkeeper. Next season that'll be different.
And also it will stop the little bit of play acting that goes on, just stepping into the penalty area when you know that it's going to be a retake when you're under pressure. Here's Wells playing it out towards that right-hand side. Coppinger swings it inside the box. It's headed away by Ban. To my mind, that should be an indirect free kick when a defender does that.
I agree, and a lot of teams do that. Actually, a bit of gamesmanship, isn't it? It's not really punished, but next season, obviously, that won't be the case.
Doncaster in possession with Downing. They haven't really created an opening in this second half. They'll try now, but again it's dragged well wide, this time by Herbie Kane as he shot from 25 yards out. Phillips doesn't have a save to make.
Well, again though, they received on it just off the front in that little position, number 10 role. Lovely ball from Downing into feet Herbie Kane. He had a free shot. He is about 25-30 yards out, but player of his quality, you think he might hit the target. But that's where you can see the Charlton players practically saying to one of his centre-halves, well look, you're only marking one forward, there's three of you, one of you's got to step out. Too slow to react, as they were for the goal.
Well, we were talking before the game about Doncaster's perceived weakness away from home being when they can't get too much possession. This second half, since the change of shape, it's been 68-32 in Charlton's favour, the possession. Now Doncaster have had the only shot so far. Charlton, of course, don't have to create anything. All they have to do is do what Sunderland did so effectively at Fratton Park last night, just sit on the aggregate lead. And they are doing that. And Doncaster just struggling really to create too many worthwhile chances at the moment after having 9 attempts in the first half. Just a couple of errant ones in this second so far. But Sarr is in possession for Charlton, put under pressure. Pressure that he's been able to withstand, and he continues to make his way forward, but now he's out of possession and out of position as Wells won it back. Sarr back on his feet, but Aribo has got the ball back. He finds Pratley. Pratley lets fly from distance. It's spilled by Maroshi, but he's going to be able to gather at the second attempt at the feet of Lyle Taylor.
Yeah, it's a good strike there. Just bounce in front of the goalkeeper, Maroshi. He done well, though, to get the rebound.
Wonderful atmosphere at the Valley for Charlton against Doncaster on TalkSport 2, with McDonald's Fun Football providing over 5 million hours of fun grassroots football to the UK by 2022. A reminder, tomorrow over on TalkSport, the build-up starts at 3 ahead of the FA Cup final. Manchester City looking for the unprecedented domestic treble against Watford, and it's live on TalkSport. Mark Saggers in the chair from 3 tomorrow. Now, this will be a yellow card for a missed-time challenge from Whiteman in the midfield, and another Charlton free kick, which will again just allow them the opportunity to surreptitiously run the clock down.
Yeah, but you can see here Charlton are not sending anyone up now. All the 3 centre halves are staying back. They're just going to try and keep it, go backwards, trying to kill the game.
It's all about game management, just maintaining possession, denying Doncaster opportunities is all they've got to do. Pratley's won it back in the midfield. Kane has stayed down injured for a moment. Pratley working it wide to his left-hand side, then it's played out to the left for Aribo. Aribo, low ball in from him, swept away brilliantly by Andrew on the cover. Fullback's done an outstanding job because both Taylor and Parker were making their way forward. And he saw the danger well and slides it behind. Then there's an inquest as to whether there should have been an offside flag or not, but it will be a Charlton corner.
That is absolutely brilliant defending there from the Doncaster fullback. Danny Andrew got back on the inside because Butler was thrown to the ground by Marquis, so he's out of position. There was a gaping hole in the middle of the defence. Danny Andrew got back brilliantly. What a clearance. Stopped a certain goal there.
Corner to Charlton. The first that either side have had in the second half. A right-footed, in-swinging delivery. Heads come to meet it. All kinds of pushing and shoving going on. As a Charlton player has gone down injured. It is a Doncaster free kick. Andy Butler was up there involved. Bielik is the Charlton player who's stricken. He's just helped back to his feet and puts his right hand to his face to see if there's any blood. But there isn't, and it will be a free kick which Maroshi will take. 3-2 on aggregate to Charlton. It feels, though, like a relatively precarious lead. Free kick to be taken. Level with the penalty spot. Driven, right-footed. Out towards the Doncaster right for Malik Wells, who heads it on, beating Purrington in the air. Bauer forced to come across and clear his lines. And the Germans put it out for a throw, which will be taken on the Doncaster right, about 25 yards inside the Charlton half, and the Charlton fans doing their own bit of game management, not throwing the ball forward particularly quickly for Matty Blair to take the throw, all time which in theory will be added on, of course. Blair working it forward down the right-hand touchline for Wells, who will try and turn for Doncaster. Charlton nearly everybody back behind the ball. Wells goes to ground, no foul against him by Sarr. Ball swung inside the area, too high for Kane, and it drifts away into the hoardings wide of Dylan Phillips' goal, and out of play for a goal kick. And Charlton have withstood the opening 18 minutes of the second half. They've looked better since they've changed the shape. It's still 1-1 on the night.
They certainly have. Far more comfortable here now, Charlton. I mean, Doncaster delivering from far too deep. They're a good 35 yards out, trying to cross from there. I mean, it's so easy to defend. They've got to work the ball closer to the goal, get in and around the penalty area like they did in the first half.
Long clearance from Phillips. High ball forward, which Taylor will try and head on, but he's beaten to it by Downing. Cullen forced to retrace his steps and lay it back for Sarr, whose hurried clearance was poor. Whiteman can work it out to the Doncaster right. Marquis has just peeled out into a wider position this time. Lays it back for Whiteman. Blair's made his way forward on the overlap. The pass for Coppinger slightly evaded him, and Charlton clear the lines. Downing will sweep up at the back for Donny and just play it forward into the feet of Whiteman, who goes to his left-hand side for Butler. Certainly candidate for man of the match if Doncaster are the winning side. Aribo loses out to Whiteman. Doncaster can bring it forward again with Rovers fullback Blair. Back for Whiteman. Whiteman working it intelligently across the midfield. Charlton sitting that little bit deeper, inviting Doncaster pressure. Kane, right-footed ball from him. Blocked well by Cullen, but it still finds a Doncaster player in Blair. Blair out to the right. Coppinger's ball in. Not enough elevation on it. It's headed away by Bielik. Back in from Wells. Easy for Phillips. And another Doncaster attack fizzles out to nothing.
Again, though, for me, they're delivering from far too deep. They've got to work the ball closer to the box. That's where they looked most vulnerable, certainly in the first half, Charlton. I mean, they've got the three big centre-halves in there. Sarr, obviously Bauer and Bielik, so it's just food and drink. Heading those things clear.
Doncaster have scored 101 goals this season in all competitions, which is their best return as a league club since the late 1940s. But they need one more now. Marquis out of the far side. Was he fouled? Gavin Ward bought himself a little bit of thinking time and says yes, he was, by Pratley. Free kick to Doncaster.
Well, he does like to moan, John Marquis, I know that. I was at Portsmouth with him for a spell, and he does moan. I can imagine Gavin Ward's had an earful all game. Finally, he succumbed. Right, go on then, John, I'll give you one anyway. Now zip it.
Free kick to be taken. Marquis inevitably will be amongst the targets here. Butler's made his way forward. Downing is there as well, wearing 31 for Doncaster. Whiteman, another 6-footer, stands on the edge of the D. Plenty of air underneath the ball. It's headed back into the fray by Rowe. Half cleared by Bielik. Malik Wills is in there, but he can't get it down. And then there's a little coming together between Taylor and Rowe inside the penalty area. Referee says play on from that. Then again from another coming together on halfway, with Kane involved with a rebound, and then Kane is fouled, and it's a free kick to Doncaster to restart play. Boos and whistles from the Charlton fans. They think there were a couple of instances there where the home side should have had a free kick.
Well, I'm not so sure, but basically every time there's a coming together nowadays, I don't know whether it's always been like this, but certainly now the games that I've been watching closely, everyone just goes to ground and appeals. They appeal for anything, any sort of foul, penalty, whatever it may be, and some of these challenges are just the half nothing, not even worth deliberating.
Free kick to Doncaster, which Danny Andrews stands over. Coppinger has made his way back, and he might also have what might prove to be more than a watching brief. Wilkes waits, edge of the penalty area. Downing up there as well. Hands on hips, inside the D, John Marquis. Referee's gone across and had a word as Whiteman was getting involved with Bielik. Bauer is also there. Bit of wrestling going on inside the box as the ball is swung in. Wilkes on Taylor. Referee says free kick to Charlton, and I think he got that one right. And they will take it inside their own penalty area, and they're now midway through this second half, and they know, the home side, that if they can keep a clean sheet in the second half, they're at Wembley for the first time in 21 years. 1-1 the score on the night, 3-2 on aggregate for Charlton. Well,
I think at half-time, Bowyer, when he changed the shape, would have been hoping for a response like this. It's been much, much better. Look more composed in this shape, more comfortable. They've certainly stopped Donny playing their possession style of football.
Phillips with a long ball forward. Long ball which evades everybody, and this time the pushing and shoving going on. Downing on Taylor. And the referee saw it the other way and has given a free kick to Charlton. But the more fragmented the game is, the more stop-start it is, the more it plays into Charlton's hands. Ball swept forward. Marquis will chase it. Headed away. Coppinger brings it down on the edge of the box. Bauer's done really well. His header wasn't great, but his reading of the situation was. Then the second ball won on the edge of the penalty area by Rowe, who ran into traffic, and Cullen, who got in the way, has given a free kick away. And this is a really good position now for Doncaster that Coppinger may well fancy.
I think that one was a free kick. I mean, it's just a hopeful long punt forward. A poor header clear from Bauer, as you say. They picked up the second, then Bauer won it back, but it's another poor pass intercepted. As you say, he's in a good position here, within striking distance.
Well, in the League One playoff semi-final that Doncaster played back in 2008, the last one they were in at this level, Coppinger got a hat-trick against Southend, and one of them was a breathtaking free kick.
I don't think he's going to take it from this side. It is a lefty. Right-hand side of the box. Yeah, it's Danny Andrew on it. He loves free kicks as well. He's scored quite a few this season. He's got Terrific technique, he really has. If anyone can get it up and over, he can.
4 in the wall. A lot of Doncaster players hoping for the loose pickings if it comes back off the wall or the goalkeeper. The angle's certainly favouring the left footer. Coppinger runs over it. It is Andrew past the wall, but cleared by Cullen. High up in the air then, inviting pressure on the goalkeeper, who punches it clear. Goalkeepers always get the benefit of the doubt in those situations. Any striker anywhere near the goalkeeper, whistle's going to go, and that time it was Marquis on Phillips, under pressure, punched it clear, but Charlton again withstand the danger, and they're now only 20 minutes away.
Well, they just have to be a little bit more subtle. There's about 3 or 4 of them there just piled in on the goalkeeper. Gavin Ward is obviously going to give that. It's a cheap one to give away. I'm surprised there Andrew went low. I mean, he's shown in various games this season what a good free kick taker he is.
Yeah, he scored in 3 successive home games recently. 5 his tally for the season. Referee incidentally produced a yellow card there. It was shown to Andy Butler, I think, for a yellow card for dissent. Phillips in no hurry to restart play. The clock on the Giants scoreboard at the corner of the ground ticks on to 70 minutes. 1-1, as it's been now for an hour. Phillips belatedly gets the game back underway. Long right-footed clearance from him, and then Butler is claiming he got a hand in the face there from Parker, which I would suggest was an overreaction. It's getting feisty. There is needle. 4 yellow cards have been shown now, 3 to Doncaster players and 1 to Bielik of Charlton. Aribo able to bring the ball away, in possession, just loses out. Then Taylor is in there. Parker, I beg your pardon, battling in there with Rowe. The free kick goes Charlton's way. So many stoppages in this second half. Free kick which Cullen will look to orchestrate. Rowe makes his way back. The one-man Doncaster wall actually doesn't even bother standing in any wall. No bricks required. Cullen to take it, right-footed ball, hitting with pace towards the back post. Goalkeeper couldn't come, but even before the ball got there, the referee saw some pushing and shoving going on. Doncaster take a free kick quickly, possibly from the wrong place, but they're allowed to continue, and they work it out wide towards Kane. Kane turns away from the challenge of Pratley. Space to his left-hand side for Whiteman. Whiteman's ball forward into the feet of Marquis, who takes it inside the centre circle but gives it away. Pratley was caught off the ball, but the ball finds its way through for Josh Parker, and Parker looks to try and buy a free kick, threw himself at Matty Blair, and the loose ball goes out of play for a Doncaster throw.
Goodness me, Gavin Ward's giving the throw in there, but they've got to do a little bit better here. Certainly Rebo losing possession again, giving it back to Donny. Then Donny on the turnover. John Marquis got to take care, look after that ball in and around the halfway line. But when Herbie Kane gets it, he's got such quality, hasn't he? Got terrific feet, lovely turn, balance.
It has been linked this week with a move to Rangers.
Not surprised.
Or Celtic. Rangers significant because he's come through the Liverpool Academy where Stephen Gerrard has worked with him, so that would make a lot of sense. He looks the part. He's a player. Only 21. He's got possession now. Ends up on the deck. Ball clipped in by Malik Wilkes, but away from Marquis, and it's well playing by Phillips, and Kane is still down there, face down over on the far touchline. It looks as though it was a little handoff from Parker, and Gavin Ward is going to call the Doncaster medical staff on to treat Herbie Kane.
Well, what I would say is when they are delivering the ball, Donny, that time Wilkes on the right hand side cutting in, who's in the box? Just John Marquis. That's all there is. That's not enough. It's going to have to be an inch perfect ball to pick him out, and they haven't done that so far tonight, so they've got to commit a few more players further forward.
Do they do that by making a change? They've got Alfie May, who's a forward on the bench perhaps. He's player hasn't scored since New Year's Day, but he is in double figures this season. Do they change the shape, or do they just make changes to try and freshen it up?
What they have done, they've tried to match up the Charlton midfield. So Ben Whiteman is that sort of deep liar, just taking hold of Joe Aribo, and then Tommy Rowe and Herbie Kane, they're just slightly further forward, just matching up with Pratley and Cullen. What it means, they're kind of man for man, but one of them needs to get into the box. They don't really have Rowe as a number 10. Coppinger's out wide, so he's playing more of an attacking midfield role. So, you know, if he isn't going to make the box, someone has to, otherwise just Marquis, and he's outnumbered.
Another player that they can call upon is Alfie Beeston, who's a striker. Had a loan spell at Chesterfield earlier this season. So they do have forwards, Sadlier as well as a winger, another man that they can call upon. Kane is back on, plays restarted, Dyksdale has it, making his way down the right-hand touchline here, the Charlton fullback, losing out to Tommy Rowe and then winning it back. Rowe has pulled him down right in front of the assistant referee. Contact not deemed a foul by the assistant on this near touchline, Sean Hudson. And still it gets feisty. Rebo came in there and there's an angry confrontation between him and Rowe. Dyksdale gets back to his feet. The play will restart with a throw to Doncaster, which Danny Andrew will take. 15 and a bit to go, plus stoppage time. Doncaster have to score. 1-1. The scoreline at the moment, 3-2 on aggregate. Pratley goes down off the ball. Andrews throw into the feet of Coppinger. Back to him, cleared then into Lyle Taylor. And out of play again for a throw, which will be taken on the Doncaster left.
And the ball nearly ended up with us. It's not going back on the pitch.
Yeah, the Charlton fans had it. Instead of throwing it down from, 20 rows, we can't quite see from here, 20 rows back, it was actually thrown up towards us on the upper tier.
I thought you were going to take that on your chest there, Jim.
Oh, you've never seen, you thought I was taking that on my chest. You've never seen me play.
You just talk a good game.
That was not even sure that. That was first touch out, back out of play for a throw. We'll come up here. Rebo chasing it. They'll be cleared by Downing back to his goalkeeper and knocked away. Out towards the right hand side. They'll be brought forward. Will Doncaster. 15 to go. 1-1. And it's out for a throw, which will be taken by Blair. Blair hurling it forward. Goes into the feet of Kane. It's a strong challenge, but a fair one from Pratley, and then worked long over the top by Parker, and he's found Taylor right inside of the area. There's no immediate support. Rebo shows for him now. That's the pass that is played. Back he goes towards the edge of the penalty area again for Dyksdale, and towards the right hand side of the box. Low fizzing ball in, and it's missed. What a chance. Brilliant ball in from Taylor. Attacked by Parker at the near post, and he's only about 4 yards out. Any kind of contact, and he was going to put the goalkeeper under severe pressure, but he couldn't quite get the angle right and stripped it wide.
It's a brilliant ball in from Lyle Taylor, sort of ball that actually he would want to be on the end of, and if he was, it'd probably be in the back of the net. As it is, Josh Parker went with the outside of his foot, couldn't quite direct it on goal. I actually think he was offside there.
Play continues, and Doncaster have the ball in the midfield with Coppinger. You certainly couldn't rule out extra time at the moment. Coppinger has it. Ball's played back for Kane. One thing that Charlton have been able to do, though, is restrict the amount of worthwhile goal-scoring attempts that Doncaster have created. Well, Wilkes, I beg your pardon, plays it out to the Doncaster right-hand side for Coppinger. Coppinger back for Wilkes again. Wilkes ball into the feet on the edge of the area. Back he gets a return ball from Blair. Got it onto his left foot. Charlton had enough bodies back, cleared the lines, and Pratley whacked it away. There's an inevitability about the fact that it's going to be pumped forward along again by Butler. Into the feet of Marquis. Marquis with a little layoff. It was a tired layoff from him. Picked up by Cullen. Rebo brings it forward. Still Rebo goes. He's found Taylor. No, not quite. Downing off balance. Able to recover in the nick of time. Stretched out of right leg and gets it away. Out towards Coppinger. 77 gone. 1-1 here on TalkSport 2 between Charlton and Doncaster. Malik Wilkes makes his way forward. Pratley winning it back. Now he's lying over the ball on the touchline, and Coppinger, as Pratley tried to stop Wilkes playing it, but at the same time tried to stop there being obstruction. Coppinger then came in and knocked it away. It ends up going out for a throw to Doncaster, level with the edge of the Charlton penalty area. We're set for a barnstorming final 12 minutes.
We certainly are, but just looking at Doncaster, I mean, John Marquis, as prolific as he is, he's great in the box. Outside the box, he's not as good. His hold-up play tonight, his link-up play has certainly been lacking. A couple of one-touch layuffs, and his first touch a little bit heavy, just put his team in trouble there. A better pass from Rebo and Charlton would have been in.
In fact, the free kick has been given for obstruction by Pratley, so it's an indirect free kick. A yard in from the right-hand touchline, level with the edge of the box. Two in the wall, left-footed in, swinging delivery, easy for Phillips. It was hit far too deep. and then having come out, patrolled his penalty area effectively, great catch, just collapses onto the floor with the ball in his hands. Bielik works it forward here for Charlton, headed away and out for a throw which will be taken on the Charlton right, level with us, about 20 yards inside the half at Doncaster defending, and the Charlton fans have found their voice. Donny are going to make a change, and it's going to be Crawford who will come on, the Scotsman signed from Hamilton, and Ali Crawford will come on to replace Herbie Kane, and that's Doncaster's first change with 11 minutes remaining, Dave.
I think he's had a really good game. Herbie Kane, he looks like a terrific young talent.
Another goal for Dundee United in that playoff at Tannadice tonight. Dundee United 3, Inverness Cali 0. Throw forward from Dykesdale. Taylor trying to recycle it, clip the ball into Coppinger. Doncaster again look long, Marquis flicks it on, no one up there with him to take advantage of that. He needs the ball into feet, which is kind of counterintuitive for the way that he plays. Aribo has it towards the edge of the penalty area, inside the box, try to whip it in, hit Downing, it's cleared. Lyle Taylor trying to work the angle, has clearly wrestled Hamilton to the ground as he wrestled Crawford to the ground, I beg your pardon. And the free kick has been given Doncaster's way. We're into the final 10 minutes of Charlton against Doncaster on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's Fun Football, providing over 5 million hours of fun grassroots football to the UK by 2022. Is it the final 10 minutes of Doncaster's season? Will the night be extended by an additional 30 with a Rovers goal? Charlton believing that they're nearly there. Phillips clears his lines, right-footed. It's charged down by Ali Crawford. Goes out of play for a throw which will be taken by Dykesdale on the Charlton right-hand side. 9.5 to go. Bielik back to his goalkeeper. Long right-footed clearance from him. Downing going up for it. Commanding header, beating Parker in the air. Comes off the thigh of Bauer. Down for Dykesdale. Dykesdale, a little step over from him. Getting the ball away from Coppinger. And back he goes to his centre-half, Bielik. Bielik working it out to the Charlton left. Pratley's got it now. And Pratley into the feet of Purrington. Back for Sarr. Sarr's ball forward. Surely an offside flag up. Yes, it is, against Parker. And murmurs of discontent from the crowd at him. And it's a free kick which will be taken by Doncaster, level with the edge of their own penalty area with 8.5 to go at 1-1.
Well, we're just looking at where Tommy Rowe's lining up now. He's much closer to John Marquis. Whether they're committing a few more players further forward here in the latter stages, they certainly need a chance. They need a goal. Haven't had that many, have they, in this game, Doncaster? Not clear-cut chances anyway.
Just the 2 shots on target in the first leg. Haven't had a single attempt on target in the second half of this second leg so far, and that's a hugely significant statistic. And credit to Lee Bowyer and Johnny Jackson making the change, seeing where the problems were, and stifling Doncaster Rovers. 52% possession to Charlton in this second half. And the ball that Donny have had, they've had 4 attempts but haven't been able to hit the target so far after an improved first half performance from them. Phillips has the ball at his feet inside his own penalty area. Charlton goalkeeper whacks it away. This time it's Taylor who's offside. He's retreated from an offside position. Certainly wasn't when he made the contact with the ball, but was when the ball was played forward by the goalkeeper. Free kick taken by Doncaster. Could have taken it another 10 yards further forward, but it's worked by Butler into the feet of Coppinger. Steps away from the challenge of Aribo. Finds Marquis. Marquis towards the edge of the box again. Doncaster struggling to get the bodies forward, but they've worked it towards the edge of the penalty area now for Rowe. Rowe to Coppinger. Out towards Andrew. Left-footed ball in from him. It's swept away easily by Bielik, and Dykesdale completes the clearance, and there's a coming together between Butler and Taylor, and Butler's got to be careful. He's already on a yellow card, and Taylor squares up to him and says something. Butler then waves his hand past his nose as if to make a pretty obvious insult, but play will restart with a Charlton free kick.
Again, though, that comes from another really disappointing delivery from out wide. This time Danny Andrew with the ball. It doesn't miss the first man. That's why they've been really found wanting here. Their final third play has just not been up to scratch. It really hasn't.
And Butler goes across and has another word with Taylor. Right in front of the assistant referee.
I mean, they've had a good battle, those two, haven't they, all game? I think Butler's come out on top, certainly here.
Well, Taylor's got himself isolated against the full-back Danny Andrew for this free kick, which is pumped forward, and then there's a little elbow in the back of Butler from Taylor. Ball goes out of play. A corner has been given. That probably should have been a free kick. It is a corner which will be taken on the right-hand touchline. Well, Josh Cullen goes across.
Sorry, this is where Lyle Taylor just has to, let his football do the talking. He's getting a little bit involved there with Butler, and I know that's sometimes levelled at him. Maybe his personality gets in the way of his football, but, just concentrate on the game. You're nearly there. And now he's antagonising the crowd.
Cullen's going to take this. Goal for Charlton now, and it will all be over. Right-footed ball swept in towards the near post, far too low. It was knocked away on the ground from the corner of the 6-yard box by Danny Andrew. Worked back by Charlton towards Purrington. Long ball forward. Pratley's made an excellent run, well timed. Andrew heads it away, and then Sarr's gone in very strongly on Marquis, who stayed down injured. Taylor tries to recycle possession. Pratley has it, but play will stop because Marquis is down holding his head. He's okay. He sat up as soon as he's heard the referee's whistle.
You're cynical, Jim, aren't you? But he did. I mean, that was one challenge. You weren't probably in the middle of those two, I know that.
Okay, timeout. Blimey, did you ever do that?
What? Get up that quick after
holding
injury? No, of course not, Jim.
No. No further questions, Your Honour. It's going to be a drop ball. Charlton will be asked to knock it back into Doncaster territory here. I don't think they will. I think Pratley is actually being told by Butler very sportingly, saying it's a drop ball, just knock it back to your own goalkeeper, or I'll knock it back to your goalkeeper for you. First of all, though, a change is going to be made. It's a Doncaster change, and Blair is coming off. The right back's going to be replaced by striker Alfie May, who has scored 11 goals this season. 9 of them have come in cup competitions, including 4 in a game against Chorley in the FA Cup. A player who they spotted playing non-league football down in Kent with Hythe Town, and he has come on, and he's going to play, by the look of it, as a right wing back. They're going to drop Whiteman in as a centre half and match Charlton up and go 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-3 in the closing stages. They need to do something, including defend this, but the flag is up, and that must have been a close call against Taylor. The ball swept forward, and Taylor drew the flag. He flicked the ball past the goalkeeper anyway. But it is a free kick which will be taken by Doncaster and by their sweeper Whiteman down to the left-hand side for Butler. 3.5 plus stoppage time. There'll be a bit more stoppage time at the end of the second half. Charlton know that if they don't concede, they're at Wembley. Whiteman brings the ball forward. Doncaster's need very significant now. Whiteman plays it forward into the feet of Marquis. Back from him to the left-hand side of the midfield for Tommy Rowe. Now Danny Andrew. Rowe's made an excellent run. They've got bodies forward this time. 4 attacking this. Cullen gets in the way. Out of play for a Doncaster corner.
Well, that was much better. They worked it. Got to the byline. Good run from Rowe. Picked out by Andrew. It's gone out for a corner. Can they make this count now?
Crawford's going to take it. Plenty of bodies forward, 7 in that penalty area. High ball swept in, headed towards goal. It is in. It's Andy Butler, and in the 88th minute, Doncaster strike to level it up on aggregate. 2-1 on the night, 3-3 on aggregate, and for the second time in 6 days, Doncaster strike with a late goal, which changes the complexion of the tie. They just gave themselves hope with Blair's late goal in Doncaster, and now they've given themselves a lifeline with Andy Butler's header, which is destined to take this to extra time.
Well, it's an absolutely brilliant header here from Butler, who's been fantastic, arguably been their best player all game. Done a brilliant defensive job, but there he is popping up in the box. Terrific, gone up like a salmon, headed it down at the near post. Dylan Phillips, no chance.
And a yellow card is shown to, I think it was Johnny Jackson, who received it, one of the Charlton coaching staff. Lee Bowes, assistant manager, clearly not happy with something that went on. And now with 90 seconds of the 90 minutes to go, it's a complete about-face. Charlton won, Doncaster 2. And is it going to be a victory for the away side yet again in the playoffs? They lead 2-1 on the night, 3-3 on aggregate, extra time and penalties on the agenda. Still the most significant moment of the night lies ahead of us.
And where did that goal come from? Now, rather than delivering from deep, which they got no success from, they worked it much closer towards goal, got to the byline, won their side of corner. That's how they need to play.
It is a Charlton side, remember, who haven't lost at home in 13 games. The last team to beat them here at the Valley, Doncaster Rovers. It's the Rovers fans you can hear. Away to our right-hand side in the right half of the Jimmy Seed stand at the southern end of the ground. Long ball swept forward here by Downing. Wilkes goes up for it. 30 seconds of the 90 minutes remain. Pratley able to bring the ball away for Charlton. Darren Pratley out of the left-hand side. Taylor checked his run, got himself back onside. 3 to aim at in the middle. Deep ball in, bypasses everybody and goes out of play. How important that miss from Josh Parker now, which surely would have seen Charlton to Wembley. As it is, all eyes on fourth official Tim Robinson. Find out how many extra minutes are going to be added. We'll find out in a moment, probably before Moroshi takes his goal kick.
Well, the only thing I'd say on Parker, he's had, 14, 15, 16 games, no goals, so it's not really a surprise. But just looking at Donny, have they gone to a flat back four now? Because obviously they took Blair off, changed their shape to get back in the game. They're now back in the game. What have they done? It looks like Whiteman has dropped into that back line. Downing's gone out to the right-hand side. Slight change here.
Phillips will pick it up inside his penalty area. We're in 4 minutes of added time. Charlton turning in the midfield with Cullen. And Cullen will play it forward. Finds Sarr. Sarr's ball to Aribo. Telegraphed somewhat. Looking for Taylor, who was easily knocked away, and now Coppinger has it. And Doncaster trying to get the bodies forward, hoping to get the job done without the need for extra time. Ball inside the area, just knocked away by Bower. He was off balance, he recovered, got it away on his right foot after the delivery from Danny Andrew. But he could have taken it further forward down the touchline before delivering at a better angle. Which I know was the point you were going to make.
Yeah, just too deep. I don't know why he's delivering from there. Far too often they've had no success. Work it closer to goal. They've got the players to do that.
Dyksdale back to his goalkeeper. Phillips clears his lines. It's Charlton 1, Doncaster 2. 3-3 on aggregate in the 92nd minute. Free kick given away by Andy Butler, whose third goal of the season is arguably the one that's given him more pleasure than any other in his long career.
Well, look, this is another set piece right at the death, and they've scored something like God knows how many goals. They've won a lot of points in 80 minutes plus from set pieces. Is this going to be another one?
Cullen sweeps it forward, headed away by Butler, and then brought down on the right hand side of the penalty area by May, but he's lost possession. Picked up again by the other substitute, Crawford. Now to Coppinger. Wilkes makes his way forward. Wilkes taking on Bierlich in a foot race. Marquis is in the middle. If Malik Wilkes can get it across, they've got two waiting inside the area, and he almost found him sliding in at the far post. Marquis couldn't quite get the touch, and had he done so, Donny would have won it.
Oh goodness me, that was close. Wilkes again cuts in from that right hand side, lashes it with a cross come shot, and Marquis, as you say, sliding in just half a yard away.
Also had the option of pulling it back for Rowe, who was unmarked on the edge of the box. Doncaster bring it forward again with Marquis. Pratley's trying to bring him down. Good advantage play by the referee. Downing for Malik Wilkes. It's Wilkes inside the area, onto his left foot, blocked well. Another right footed shot comes in. Goalkeeper almost spilt it from May, but was able to gather at the second attempt, and Charlton are hanging on here for extra time.
Well, Wilkes has suddenly just come alive, getting the ball every time. He looks dangerous now. He's been starved of it really most of this game. Cut inside, I just wonder, they could have faked because Sarr went to ground, could have bought himself another yard, but he's looked a real threat on the counter. As you say, Charlton on the ropes here, as they were in the first half.
It's finished at Tannadice. Dundee United 3, Inverness Cali 0. This one set to finish after 90 minutes, 2-1 to Doncaster, which will take us into extra time. Throw to be taken on the Donny right, off the top of the head of Marquis. Gets a second header to it, and it's a turn 4 by Purrington, and then volleyed away by Whiteman. There's another who's had an excellent game. Then it's turn forward. Malik Wilkes chasing after it. Goes out of play for a throw, which will be taken by Charlton. Wilkes picked up the ball and just rolls it away down towards the corner flag to try and stop Charlton taking it quickly. Referee Ward looks at his watch. 4 minutes all but up. Sarr plays the ball back to his goalkeeper. Phillips launches it forward, and we are heading for extra time. You have to give credit to Doncaster Rovers. That is a job very well done. A goal down inside 90 seconds tonight, which put them 2 behind on aggregate. They needed 2 from that point. They got 1 pretty much straight away with Tommy Rowe. They left it late for the other, but Andy Butler, who hadn't scored since the FA Cup tie here at the Valley, conjured up an 88th minute winner on the night. That takes us to 3-3 on aggregate, and it takes us to extra time. Absolutely fantastic, phenomenal game. It's been a brilliant playoff campaign all the way through. So much drama, and the last of these semi-finals hasn't disappointed either. It's been a stunning fight back from Doncaster. Thoroughly deserved to get the game to extra time, and now it's all about resilience, spirit, bottle, and just maybe the ability from the penalty spot as well. We're back underway. First period of extra time. Charlton kicking from right to left as they did in the first 45 minutes, and on the front foot here with Dyksdale. Dyksdale playing the ball back through towards Aribo, and Aribo will take it wide. It's gone out of play for a throw. Well, still changes at the disposal of both managers. It was interesting that there was an extensive massage for Christian Bielik during the break between the 90 minutes and the start of extra time. It just looks as though he might be struggling. His groin, thigh area a little bit tight potentially. Cullen on his way forward here. Layoff comes from Parker and towards the right hand touchline for Aribo. Aribo coming in, right hand side of the penalty area, slips it in. Taylor twisting, turning, then falling over the ball, can't get a shot in. Aribo will be able to pick it up. Back from him to Dyksdale. Dyksdale's ball in, not too bad, but cleared by Whiteman. And out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Charlton right hand side. 91 gone. Charlton 1, Doncaster 2 on the night. 3-3 on aggregate. Aribo played out towards the diminutive Cullen. Cullen to Dyksdale. Aribo now to Taylor. Taylor, right-footed ball in, took a deflection, punched away by the goalkeeper at the near post, and then cleared out to Marquis. But back it will come from Sarr. Left-footed ball swung over the top, headed away by Andrew. Good header as well. Into the chest of Coppinger with his back to the direction of play. Coppinger at 38, still getting the minutes under his belt. Taken off at half-time on Sunday, but still on tonight, 92 minutes into the game. Surely handball there by Parker. There's a free kick which will be taken by Doncaster just outside their home penalty area, but a bright start to extra time for Charlton Athletic. David Conley.
It certainly is, yeah. Really good play there. Lyle Taylor received a couple of times in the box. You can even hear the crowd the first time, get your shot off. He didn't. Trying to find the perfect opening. The second time he did, though.
Malik Wilkes will chase a long ball that is over his shoulder and straight through to the goalkeeper. And then Bielik will just evade Marquis with the ball out from the back. Plays it down to the left-hand side for Purrington. Purrington's ball down the left-hand touchline. It's knocked away by Downing, who's playing it right back now. And it goes out for a throw, which will be taken on the Charlton left-hand side. They shuffle things around Doncaster as they were chasing the game late on. They took Blair off. So they've got Whiteman in at centre-half from defensive midfield. They've got Downing at right-back, who was at centre-half. Alfie Mays playing on the right, and they're playing with Wilkes up top alongside Marquis. What is, by and large, a 4-4-2. Here's Bielik, just turning away from Rowe, and chipping it down to the left. It's headed away by May. Out for a throw, which will be taken on the Charlton left-hand side once more. And I think another change is going to be made, and it's Sadly who's going to come on. He started the first game. He's the one Doncaster player who started on Sunday who's been left out tonight. But the Irishman will be on in a moment. And Charlton are going to make a change as well. As Johnny Williams will come on. Purrington sweeps it inside the box. cleared by the Doncaster back line, headed back into the fray towards the edge of the area. Pratley got a jump on Rowe, but could only head the ball inside the penalty area where it'll be picked up by Maroshi. And with 94 on the clock, it's still 2-1 to Doncaster, 3-3 on aggregate.
Well, I think Lee Bowyer here with the change of Johnny Williams. He's a terrific football player. I'm a huge fan of his. Obviously, it didn't quite work out for him with injuries at Palace, but
here's Aribo, edge of the penalty area, trying to work the angle, getting it onto his favoured left foot to get a shot in. He was blocked. He has scored in each of his last 4 games, but Joe Aribo just unable to make that 5 at that particular juncture. The ball goes out of play for a throw. Now the changes will be made, and as you say, Johnny Williams coming on, and it is Parker who will make way.
Yeah, I mean, he's a terrific little player here, Johnny Williams. I mean, Josh Parker, not quite his night. He's worked hard for the side, but Williams has got real quality, and he can get on it. He can make them tick. He can create things. He can burst past players. He's been a great signing for them.
Man who won the championship playoffs with Palace some 6 years ago. The ball swept in just too high for him. He's not the tallest, Johnny Williams, only about 5'7", 5'8". The ball just over his head. Cleared. Pratley's got it. Pratley down towards the left-hand touchline. Sadly has not come on yet. He will now that the ball goes out of play for Charlton throw, and he will come on to replace Coppinger. Too much to ask to get more than 95 minutes out of the 38-year-old, but he's rolled back the years again tonight, and he gets a standing ovation from the Doncaster fans. Yeah,
he's had a really good performance here. He's turned up when he's needed to, but good performance, as you say, 90 plus. Sadlia, he's a good player as well. He's got lots of ability. So 2 really positive changes here. They're trying to, I think, affect change, get some energy on that pitch.
He was a trainee at West Ham, Kieran Sadlier, before Spanish Scotland with St Mirren, and then went to Cork City, for whom he played in the Irish Cup final last season. Now at Doncaster, and who knows, 25 minutes away potentially from Wembley. Johnny Williams. 3-3 on aggregate this at the moment, with Purrington playing it down the left-hand side of the area for Pratley. We're in extra time. Pratley's left-footed ball in. Taylor peeling away at the far post. Another impressive header away from the brilliant Butler. Back in from Taylor, driven in with real intent. Butler got in the way of that one as well. And then it hit Taylor and goes out of play for a throw. And he slams the ball into the advertising hoardings over on the far touchline in his frustration. And it goes out of play for a throw, which will be taken by Danny Andrew for Doncaster. 96 gone, 2-1 to Doncaster on the night, 3-3 on aggregate.
I mean, Butler, he's frustrated, Lyle Taylor, because he's done so well against him. He's barely given him a kick tonight.
Charlton having it back with Johnny Williams. Just knocked away from him by Rowe. Back out for Dyksdale. His ball down the right-hand touchline for Williams again. Williams bundled over off the ball once he'd delivered the pass, and he has a free kick 16 yards from the corner flag on the right-hand touchline.
Well, that's what he gives you. I mean, he can just suck you in. He moves the ball so quickly, fleet-footed, and the Andrew makes a foul there.
And Williams just makes a hand gesture with his right hand, encouraging the crowd to provide that little bit of extra volume. A Charlton set piece. This their MO. High ball inside the penalty area. Bauer went up for it. Appeals for handball. Very vociferous appeals. Nothing given. Williams turns it back in. It's cleared. Back out towards the edge of the box where it'll be knocked away from Purrington. Wilkes will chase it, but it's easily cleared by the Charlton back line. Then a missed kick in the Doncaster midfield with Marquis, but he has time to recover. As he sends it forward, Bielik will just put it out of play. Well, you can usually tell from the reaction of the players whether it's a decent handball shout or not. It's a long way from us and we haven't seen a replay, but judging by the reaction of those Charlton players, they certainly thought they had a case.
They did, but just looking at them at the other end, as they're taking that corner, they've got Bielik as the only one back up against Wilkes. Now, to me, that's a real mismatch. They need a bit more pace back there just on the counter in case.
Particularly if Bielik is just struggling with this injury that required some lengthy treatment.
Well, he's not the quickest anyway. Certainly wouldn't have him up against Wilkes in a 1v1. Only going to be one winner.
Ball is out for a throw to Doncaster. 10 yards, not even that, from the corner flag. Taken short into the feet of Rowe. A pulsating playoff semi-final. Rowe crosses, knocked away by Bielik. Williams comes to meet it. Loose ball still finds its way through to a Doncaster player, but before it gets to Sadly, the referee has spotted an infringement, and it's a Charlton free kick midway inside their own half, just past the midway point of the first half of extra time. Charlton can bring it forward. Over on the right-hand touchline, they have it with Dijkstal finding a rebound. He'll continue his run, the Dutchman, towards the edge of the penalty area, but Doncaster bring it away. Marquis to Alfie May, and May going up through the gears. He's quick as well. Wilkes on the right-hand side. 2 to aim at the back post. Sadly is waiting. Wanted the first time ball in. Oh, he's got it anyway. Wilkes puts it on his head. Marquis couldn't miss. And Doncaster, who were a goal down on the night, who were 3-1 down on aggregate, now lead on aggregate by 4 goals to 3. It's the leading goal scorer, John Marquis, born just up the road from here, and he's come back to South London to haunt Charlton Athletic. Doncaster turning it around quite brilliantly. 3-1 up on the night and 4-3 on aggregate. Is that the goal that takes them to Wembley?
Well, finally they found John Marquis in the box. I mean, he's been screaming at his teammates all game, just deliver the ball in, I will score. I can't believe he's left unmarked. I mean, it's a lightning quick break from Alfie May. He showed a real turn of pace, streaking away from the Charlton players, put it out wide to Wilkes. Then he's 1v1 up against Sarr. Sarr's inviting him to go down the line, and Wilkes says, all right then, I've got the pace to beat you. Can he pick someone out though on his weaker right foot? You bet he can. Marquis unmarked, 6 yards out, heads it down. Wow, would you believe it?
Well, in the last 8 years in the League One playoffs, only 3 of the 16 finalists have come from a semi-final where they've beaten a club who finished higher than them in the league. This season, it might be both of them. Sunderland have already eliminated Portsmouth. Charlton now on the front foot. Oh, it's equaliser! Right from the restart, ball played into the right-hand side of the penalty area, and Darren Pratley slides in to supply the finishing touch. Every bit as easy a finish as that of John Marquis moments ago, and from the restart it must only have taken 25 seconds. Darren Pratley, Charlton 2, Doncaster 3, and we're level again on aggregate at 4-4.
What a game this is, goodness me. I mean, straight from the kickoff, Johnny Williams got the ball, faked to pass back, did a little Cruyff turn, won his side a free kick, that was it. Charlton were off and playing, eventually ended up in the box. Goalkeeper couldn't quite collect it, fell to Pratley just to tap it home from 2 yards out. I mean, they just haven't kept the lead for long enough here, Donny.
Well, Darren Pratley's goal, as things stand, will take us to penalties. 4th of the season for him. He scored in the Championship playoff semi-finals 8 years ago. Scores a crucial one in the League One playoff semi-finals tonight to keep Charlton in the hunt. They're 3-2 down on the night, 4-4 on aggregate. Here come Doncaster again. Surely's got to be a free kick. Sadly, it was cynically blocked off, and Doncaster have an opportunity to work it inside the penalty area. What a game of football this has been. Absolutely tremendous.
I tell you what, the subs have done really well for Donny. Sadlier has been really bright and alert. Same with May. Excellent to feet, moved the ball quickly, showed a real tempo and energy. But it's been a cracking game, really has, pulsating end to end. This could go either way now, hard to call.
Well, we've seen 3 goals in a 13-minute spell. 3-2 to Doncaster. Andrews standing over this free kick. Maybe just a little bit too far out for a shot. 1 in the wall is a rebo. 5 Doncaster players there forward to attack it from the edge of the penalty area. Swept in by Andrew with plenty of pace, too much pace and height. Straight out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Dylan Phillips. You've got to give Donny immense credit. They've scored 3 tonight. Charlton have only conceded 6 here in the previous 13 home games, all of which they were unbeaten in. Now Lyle Taylor makes his way forward. Oh, Downing took a real chance. Williams in behind him. I don't know that he knew he was there, but the referee has spotted an infringement, and it's a free kick to Doncaster inside their box. And another change is going to be made in a moment. No, maybe not actually. The fourth official's got the numbers board in his hand, I think probably, just to show how many minutes of extra time will be played at the end of this first period of extra time.
Well, that was a terrific run, wasn't it, from Taylor? Carried his side all the way out the park, down that right-hand flank. Brilliant ball in as well. Johnny Williams is playing as the sort of striker while Taylor works out wide. Couldn't quite get on the end of it, though.
Doncaster in possession. Lose out in the heart of the midfield for Cullen. Cullen to Williams. Williams turning quickly. He's made a major impact since coming on, Johnny Williams, and then commentators curse strikes as he turned but couldn't take the ball with him and presented it straight to Crawford. Williams then fouled him, and it's a free kick to Doncaster, which they will take 10 yards inside their own half. In the final minute of the first half of extra time, in which both sides have scored in the space of a little over a minute. Marquis with the goal that put Donny ahead on aggregate for the first time in the tie, and then Pratley scoring straight away after that. Ball swept in. Oh, what a chance. Wilkso offside. Wouldn't have counted. So he got round the back of Sarr and couldn't quite bundle it over the line. And credit to Phillips, who made a decent stop. Williams now back for Purrington. Purrington sends a crossfield ball out to the far touchline, looking for Dijksteel. Marquis stopped the first pass, finding him, but then Bielik will pick it up, and Pratley's told to turn in the midfield and get Charlton going again with Purrington. As we're going to stoppage time at the end of the first half of extra time, and there'll be 2 minutes to be added. Cullen out to Dijksteel. Dijksteel to Aribo. Charlton on the front foot near the edge of the Doncaster penalty area, trailing 3-2 on the night. Pratley, right hand side of the box, gets it down towards the dead ball line, tries to buy a corner, can't. Dijksteel will come inside the penalty area, can't work a shooting opportunity, but Williams will pick up the loose ball. He tries to go the long way round Downing, pulled back by him. Aribo is in, left hand side of the box, pulls it back, and they got enough bodies back. It was again the brilliant Butler there in the right place to clear his lines out of play for a Charlton throw, which is taken short by Williams. Williams ball in, hits Alfie May. Bielik back for Aribo, now to Williams. Everything going through him at the moment. Decent ball in, just took a little deflection off May on its way through, and that set it up nicely for the goalkeeper Maroshi to come out and claim.
Well, that could be it for this first half of extra time, but Wilkes, I wonder if he's okay. He looked like he got a whack with that opportunity right on the goal line. Let's hope he hasn't got a dead leg. If he has, he'll need a rub, I think, like Bielik at half time.
Well, being in extra time, he can make a fourth change, and they're going to do that. And whether it'll be Wilkes that comes off or not, I don't know, but the Welsh centre-half Joe Wright is the man who's going to come on. He's only made one brief substitute appearance in the last 7 months, but he's going to get 15 minutes here by the look of it. I'm not going to make the change yet. It is a Doncaster throw, which Danny Andrew will take midway inside the Charlton half on the far touchline, which is Donny's left. Throws it down the line for Marquis. Marquis towards the edge of the penalty area, turns it round the corner for Tommy Rowe. Rowe's ball forward, then Rose, he brought down. Referee had a look, gave himself some thinking time, gives a goal kick.
Oh, that would have been close. He's gone to ground there. Rowe just skipped the ball past. I think it might have been Bielik. He had a close look, Gavin Ward.
At half-time and extra time, we'll see Doncaster make the final change. 15 minutes to go. There's an inquest as the players make their way off towards this near touchline about the non-award of a penalty there. Grant McCann is absolutely furious. He's had his say with the fourth official, so is Cliff Byrne. He's also having his say with the assistant referee on this near touchline, but nothing given. And at half-time and extra time, it's Charlton 2, Doncaster 3, 4-4 on aggregate. Well, we were expecting that was the change that would be made because of the injury that Wilkes picked up.
That's a real blow, though, isn't it? Because he was such an outlet for them. He's got real pace.
And Wright's going to go out to right back, and Whiteman will go back into midfield, and they've just brought Downing back in at centre half. So they've shuffled things around on numerous occasions, Doncaster. Well, that's their last change. They've made all four now.
They're just trying to find a way, aren't they? But I'm sure he wouldn't have wanted to take off Wilkes if he could have prevented that, but he was struggling, looked like a dead leg. And he was a real outlet for him. I tell you, he's got so much speed. You think, fancy him, lots of 1v1 up against Bielik, he would kill him. So that's a blow to McCann.
So we've got Alfie May playing on the right, they've got Sadlier on the left, and then they've got Whiteman anchoring the midfield with Rowe ahead of him. Ali Crawford to his right, and then Marquis playing up front, but they are being able to get the bodies forward in support of Marquis that little bit more now. Certainly Alfie May's doing a good job in that regard, and May will chase the ball, play forward towards the edge of the penalty area here, and swept away by Bauer, and be picked up on the Donny left-hand side by Andrew. Did well just to adjust the trajectory of his run. Back to him from Sadlier. Sadlier now getting a return ball, takes it down towards the corner flag. Dyksdale's done well, blocking the cross and then emerging brilliantly with possession. That's excellent play from the fullback. Into the feet of Lyle Taylor. Doncaster leading 3-2 on the night, 4-4 on aggregate. Now it's slipped through for Marquis. He's offside. He fires it across the face of goal anyway, down towards the corner flag. And then a ball boy just keeps it in down by that corner flag and enjoys his moment in the limelight, whacks it back forward for Dylan Phillips to take the free kick quickly. 106 gone, 3-2 to Doncaster, with 13 and a half minutes away from penalties. Phillips finding Bauer. I'll tell you something, FA Cup final's got a bit to live up to.
Certainly has.
It's been some week, hasn't it? Here's Marquis. Marquis inside the centre circle. That FA Cup final tomorrow. Build-up starts at 3. Manchester City Watford kicks off at 5. Mark Saggers talking you through the action. Sam Matterface and Stuart Pearce with the call. And it's over on Talk Sport tomorrow. This one, dead level on aggregate. There have been 2 occasions where Charlton have been 2 goals clear on aggregate. 2-0 up in the first leg, 3-1 up on aggregate after the early goal tonight. Doncaster's response brilliant. The goals from Rowe, Butler and Marquis without reply. Then Darren Pratley scored moments later, and that gets us to the position we're at now, 4-4, and penalties looming large. Williams making life difficult, as he's done ever since coming on, but Doncaster get it away this time with Downing. Cullen winning it back in the midfield. Plays it back to his centre half, Bielik, who received a further treatment for that thigh strain during the half-time interval and extra time. Doncaster win it back. Whiteman's done beautifully. Skips around the challenger Cullen, chips it over the top, be chased left-hand side of the penalty area and well kept in. Sadly, it rifles the ball in, too high for everybody. May, who's probably the shortest man on the field, will run round it and keep it in on the right-hand touchline. And now an opportunity for him to try and take on the Charlton back line. Purrington stopped him getting an effective cross in, and it's out of play for a Doncaster throw. And Charlton will make a change, but are they just going to wait before introducing Chris Solly? They are. Solly will be on at the next break in play for his 299th Charlton appearance. Ball out on the Donny right, high ball in, a high hanging cross which sadly are attacked, knocked away well by Bielik, whose goal with moments into the encounter started the night. Back for Tommy Rowe. Rowe to Whiteman. Down towards Andrew for Doncaster, the left back playing it forward. Rowe tried to drag it into his stride, cleared though by Pratley, and out of play for a throw to Andrew.
Well, it's a lovely idea. That's much better though from Andrew. I think earlier in the game he would have delivered from there far too far out. Instead he tried to find Rowe, little cheeky pass, nice little Cruyff turn from Rowe, but couldn't quite keep it under control. But that's much better from Donny.
They've got it again from the throw. Andrew getting it back, taking on Dyksdale. He just drove the ball into him, hoping a guy to play for a corner. Ricochet back for Sadlier. Sadlier across the edge of the area. Rowe, awkward control, didn't use his hand. Gets a left-footed shot in that was blocked. There'll be a block comes out for Lyle Taylor. And Taylor will clear off Danny Andrew. And it'll be a Charlton throw. And now they will make the change. And Solly will come on for Bielik, who can't put his aching body through it anymore. And Chris Solly, who made his Addicks debut 10 years ago this month, back from a 4-game ban after 2 red cards this season at both Barnsley and Oxford, and he's going to come on for the 12 minutes or so that remain. Bielik coming off, and this might necessitate another shuffle round. Solly might just drop in at full back, or he might play at centre half. They might go back to a back 4. Where they move Dyksdale, is he going to come into the middle? Looks as though that's what's going to happen. Dijkstaal's going to take Bielik's position on the right of the three centre-halves, and Solly's going to play it right back.
Yeah, I mean, Solly, that's where he normally plays, on this right-hand side. I think Bielik, look, he got the ball rolling with a really good downward header, but you could tell he had run his race. And I really like Solly. He's a terrific ball player. Another player, a bit like Williams, who can handle the ball, keep possession.
Doncaster trying to get it away from him. He goes out of play for a throw, which Donny have taken quickly. Worked it forward through the midfield for the Scotsman, Ali Crawford. Crawford now, right-footed ball swept in very deep. Sadly coming around the back. Solly concedes the corner, but the referee saw a push before he got there. And it's a free kick which will be taken by Charlton on the edge of their own penalty area, and we're 9 minutes away from penalties.
I think that's Gavin Ward having one back on John Marquis. As I said, he does moan all game. He'll be sick of the sight of him after extra time. He never stops. He's unrelenting. I'm sure you get your fair share, but in the end I think the ref might have one on him.
I'm sick of the sight of him, and I'm sure sick of the sound of him as well.
Yes.
This time it's a Doncaster throw. Or was he given a free kick? He might have given a free kick over on the far touchline for a foul on Alfie May. Another opportunity for Doncaster to swing the ball in. Andrew's going to go out there to take it. So it'll be a left-footed, in-swinging delivery. Crawford has stayed back. Wright has made his way forward. Rowe is in there. Butler's in there. Marquis. Downing as well. They've got 5 6-footers attacking this. Heads go up for it. It's ricocheted off Marquis's head. It's headed into him. And then it was an easy claim for Phillips, who then runs to the edge of his penalty area and bowls it out for Lyle Taylor. But it's Doncaster who are asking the much more pertinent questions at the moment. Whiteman sends the ball back for his goalkeeper. Morosi with time to take a touch and control it. Get it away from Cullen. High ball forward over the head of Alfie May. Picked up by Sarr. Sarr's looking tired. He's worked it forward for Aribo. Faced up by May. He's worked it down the left-hand touchline. And Wright has done well before Aribo then pulls May down. And he'll get a yellow card for that. And it's going to be a free kick to Doncaster inside their own half. Yellow card shown. And Aribo is the second Charlton player to go in the book, along with Bielik, with Downing, Whiteman and Butler all cautioned for Doncaster. So Sunderland still don't know who it's going to be that will play them a week Sunday, live on TalkSport in the League One playoff final. Which of these sides are going to be 90 minutes away from a return to the Championship?
I mean, this will be interesting the last few minutes if either side decides, look, we're just going to play for pens, or we're going to go for it. It might be a set piece, it might be an attack. Are they going to put the bodies forward and commit and try and get a winner, or are they going to settle for pens? Interesting final few minutes.
Well, we saw a goal very late in the first leg. We saw a goal very late at normal time in the second leg. 2 goals late in the first period of extra time. Is there going to be late drama before it goes to penalties? Tommy Rowe chasing after a through ball. Well, Phillips came out and took it cleanly. And Rowe appealing for a penalty. Not for one moment, I'm sure, remotely believing he was going to get it from that. Sarr, long ball forward. Taylor going up for it. Who's got the last touch on that? Taylor appealing, but it was the fullback Andrew, but the assistant referee near touchline was not moved. And it's a throw to Doncaster in front of their own fans on this near side. 6 to go. 114 gone. 204 minutes of football haven't been able to separate them. The regular season, there were 15 points between them in Charlton's favour. But when it's mattered in the playoffs, it's dead level at 4-4 on aggregate. And we're 5.5 minutes away from pens. Here's Marquis. Neatly through the midfield for Sadlier. Sadlier to Rowe. Rowe losing his footing. Tried to stay on his feet and maintain possession, but the free kick has gone Doncaster's way. Butler motioning that he was going to take it quickly. Nobody was full. Andrew then actually does restart play relatively quickly by finding Downing. Downing back for Butler, whose goal in the 88th minute took it to extra time. Downing under pressure from Johnny Williams. Laid back for Butler. Butler back to his goalkeeper, Morosi. And Shaw, goalkeepers being the bunch that they are, both of them are now secretly hoping that this is going to go to spot kicks so they can be the hero. Rowe. Boot raised there against Pratley. Free kick to Charlton. 15 yards inside their own half. 5 to go, David.
It's going to be a tense, isn't it? Final 5 minutes. There's a few tired bodies in. You can see Patrick Bauer down. He's got cramp. Plenty of tired legs out there.
I'm sure his wife is more sore, though. Just gave birth this afternoon. The ball is out of play for a throw. And even if she's not, she'll be telling him she is. Here's Sarr over on the left-hand touchline. Ball play forward. Lyle Taylor going up for it. It's headed away by Danny Andrew. Barrow could do with the gas and air from where he is right now. The ball is with Dijksteel. Back to the German, who just points at it as he goes past him. Tells his goalkeeper to come and deal with it. Long ball played over the top. Brought down by Johnny Williams. Lovely touch. Sublime play. Took the sting out of it. And as he works it down the left-hand side for Purrington, it's out of play off May for a throw to Charlton.
Yeah, it's wonderful control. That's what he has. That ability on the ball. Hasn't really had it enough, though, I think. Certainly since he's come on. I guess he might be one of those that takes a pen. He's got real quality on the ball if it does come to that.
Back he comes for Aribo. 3.5 minutes to go. It's going to be late and dramatic, but in the context of this game, you probably wouldn't expect anything less. Can either side force a winner, or is it going to go to penalties? Just a mistake in the midfield, and Doncaster have won it back quickly. Quick turnover of possession as 2 Charlton players left it for each other. Marquis makes his way forward. Left-footed ball clipped inside the box. A really poor delivery in the end. Had 2 to aim at and split the difference. Phillips comes out, makes the save. Bowls it out quickly. Getting Cullen forward here for Charlton.
What a waste though from John Marquis. That quality when you need it in the final third, just to pick someone out. Awful crossing.
Solly for Pratley. Back from him. Bauer out of the left-hand side of the Charlton midfield. Williams, bundle of energy, making his way forward. Knocks it back into space inside the centre circle. Bauer is there first. He sends a long right-footed ball over the top. Solly on the overlap has done well. Brings it down. Right-footed ball swept in, not too far away from Lyle Taylor. But Butler, his shadow is there to clear. Williams now losing his footing. It's then whacked into him by Alfie May. And it hits Williams and takes the sting out of it, and Charlton get possession back.
Well, how good has Butler been? Again, what a defensive header. He's been superb. I mean, if you're Chris Solly, you just got to keep it away from him. Maybe along the deck, pick someone out. Can't put it anywhere near Butler. He's been outstanding.
Solly then works the ball down the right-hand touchline and straight out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Marko Maroshi, the Slovakian, who may well be the hero in a moment, or will it be Dylan Phillips, who came into this having only conceded once in 4 games, but been beaten 3 times in 120 minutes tonight. Well, not quite 120, 118. We've got 90 seconds plus a little bit of stoppage time to go. Penalties looming very large on the immediate horizon. Lyle Taylor controlled it with his chest and tapped it out of play with his right boot.
He looks leggy, doesn't he? But that's understandable. Only a few minutes left.
Rowe left on the deck by Pratley. Here's Ali Crawford for Doncaster. Goal for either side now. Shawley wins it. Out towards the right-hand side for Alfie May. 3 for him to try and pick out. He's played it back for the substitute right. Right to May again. May hasn't scored since New Year's Day. Can't get into a shooting position. Feeds Rowe. Rowe with a left-footed effort, and off-balance Bauer steers it behind for a 120th minute corner.
Oh, really good play there from May. Just to pick out Rowe, who's completely unmarked on the left-hand side. Trying to get a shot off, it was blocked, but this is a big set piece. Goodness me, clock is ticking down. Final few seconds. Someone's got to pick up Butler, I know that. They've got to get touch tight to him. Don't let him get a run on you.
Well, no one's picked him up yet, and he's making a near post run. The ball went in much deeper. It's headed back in. Butler in there with the goalkeeper, but he's fouled the goalkeeper, and it's a free kick. There's an angry remonstration from Dylan Phillips, who squares up to Butler. Butler now will turn, stood his ground, now makes his way back. We've got 20 seconds of the 120 minutes to go. Time that will be elongated, you would think, by no more than a minute, if that. This might be just about the last kick of the game from Dylan Phillips. 4th official hasn't stepped forward with the numbers board, so there might not be any added time. Gavin Ward, the referee, puts the whistle to mouth. Long clearance from Phillips, headed back by Butler. Play goes on for just a few more seconds yet. Out of play for a Charlton throw. Throw which is taken by Purrington. Purrington back for Sarr. And Sarr will bring it forward. He's inside his own half, but his is the last kick of the game. Doncaster will see that as a major victory. They've won 3-2 on the night after extra time, and they've taken it 2 penalties. Now it's just a test of nerve, a test of resolve and bottle to see who's going to be playing Sunderland a week on Sunday in the final. Well, the penalty shootout, as we said, will take place away to our left-hand side. It's Charlton that are going first, and it's Chris Solly who will take the first one. And Chris Solly, who came off the bench in extra time, has only ever scored 3 goals in his senior career in one less than 300 games. But a man who's spent longer at Charlton than anybody else currently at the club and the playing staff will go first. It's going to be a long run-up. He's up against Marco Morosi, the Doncaster goalkeeper, in the fluorescent orange. Solly takes 2-3 steps and then goes up through the run, sends him the wrong way. It's an excellent penalty into the top right-hand corner. Morosi dived to his right, and the ball went to the right as we were looking at it. So first blood for Solly. Next up, it's going to be Ben Whiteman for Doncaster, who's in a real hurry to get on with it. Dylan Phillips bounces up and down on the line and then faces him up, and he's sent it into the roof of the net. Whiteman turns and just tells the Charlton fans behind that goal to keep quiet, and it's 1-1 after 1 apiece.
Well, he couldn't get in and out quick enough, could he, Whiteman? But he done the job. 2 really good penalties.
So 1-1 after 1 apiece, and now it's Josh Cullen for Charlton. Another right footer, and he sent it into the bottom left-hand corner with Morosi diving the wrong way again. It's another excellent penalty. 3 really good ones so far.
Yeah, as you say, he sent the keeper the wrong way. Good disguise. Looked one way and then wrapped his foot around it into the bottom corner of the other.
It is noticeable that the players are rattling through this, desperate to try and get it over with. Kieran Sadlier next up, the young Irishman, the former West Ham man. Well, he'd love to score one against Charlton. Histrionics on the line again from the goalkeeper. Another brilliant penalty into the top left-hand corner, although Phillips went the right way, and it's now 2 apiece.
Oh, fantastic pen. Real pace and power from the young Irishman.
Now Lyle Taylor, who's missed 2 penalties over the course of the regular season. He took 10. Charlton had so many over the course of the campaign. Lyle Taylor scored 8 out of 10 this season. It's a much more deliberate run-up from him. Nobody's missed yet. He runs his left hand through his bleached hair, walks back up towards the ball. He's only 2 steps away, hits it right-footed. Wow, that's composure. Bottom left-hand corner, beautifully taken.
Certainly was. I mean, that was the slowest run-up I've ever seen. Almost a walk. Got there in the end. He tucked it away, that's the most important thing.
Ali Crawford goes third for Doncaster. Nobody's missed yet. This to tie it up at 3-3. Phillips this time crouches down on his line. Crawford scores emphatically, by no means into the corner. He hit it about 6.5 feet up, and it hits the back netting and comes back out.
Well, it's exhibition stuff here and how to take a penalty under pressure. Every Donny one has gone to that same side, though, to the goalkeeper's left.
Joe Aribo is the first left footer to take one tonight. Spots the ball down, it didn't go where he wanted, and he's repositioned it. Now he hits it left footed and again sends the keeper the wrong way. 7 penalties into the shootout, nobody's missed. The boos tell you it's John Marquis who makes his way forward. Now he has also, like Lyle Taylor, missed 2 over the course of the regular season. It's the time where we're about to find out who's going to be the villain. Will it be Marquis? Right-footed, yes! Save! Dylan Phillips dives away to his left-hand side. It was a really poor penalty. Far too close to the centre of the goal, only a foot and a half off the ground, and John Marquis's effort is saved. And that means that if Mohamedou Sarr can score this, Charlton are in the final.
Well, what I would say is he telegraphed where he was going there, John Marquis, opened his body out, no real disguise. The goalkeeper guessed the right way. It's a poor penalty, he's weak. Can Sarr capitalise?
Charlton Athletic yet to play at the new Wembley. The last time they played at Wembley was under the Twin Towers against Sunderland in 1998. This to put them back there. Save by Maroshi, diving to his right-hand side. They had the chance, one penalty away. And Sarr's effort saved by Maroshi. And now it can be tied up level again with Tommy Rowe. Doncaster simply don't know when they're beaten.
Terrific stop there. Again though, I would say Sarr telegraphed where he was going, opened his body out, no real disguise. He went late. Can Rowe make it count? He's been superb tonight.
Tommy Rowe. Oh, he's put it wide! He's put it wide! And Charlton Athletic have won the penalty shootout in a semi-final in which it seemed that they just wouldn't be able to get over the line. But they equalised on aggregate with Darren Prattley, and they've won the shootout, and they are back at Wembley for the first time in 21 years. It's a reunion with Sunderland. Last time they were there, they got the job done and won promotion. Now, more than 2 decades later, they're back at Wembley again with another opportunity to get promoted back into the Championship this time. Doncaster Rovers will feel aggrieved. They did everything that could have been asked of them tonight, but just couldn't keep their nerve from the penalty spot. Charlton Athletic have got the job done, 4-3 on penalties after one of the most dramatic League One playoff semi-finals for years. Dylan Phillips, the hero, he saved from Marquis. Tommy Rowe, the villain, he put his wide for Doncaster. And there's a pitch invasion of about 1,000, 1,500 Charlton fans who've made their way onto the field to embrace their heroes. A special night here in front of the capacity crowd at the Valley. Charlton made to work so hard for it. Beaten 3-2 after 120 minutes. But they held their nerve, and they will play Sunderland in the final a week on Sunday. What a night for Charlton Athletic at the Valley.